Hello, everyone, and welcome to this thing that I currently haven't named yet. It's kind of unexpected, but we'll see what happens. Um, Basically, we're still partially in the process of building characters, but these guys wanted some background stuff, so I figured why not? So, you guys are from a larger city. Let me see if I can bring up the map. Bring up the map. The map. Map. The map. Okay.
On the map, on the map. Oh god.
Okay, I need to stop that for a minute because I don't have the map actually up. Okay. Yes, I was singing the Dora thing.
Yeah,
The
same
map.
here.
The map. I'm the map.
Stop it!
Map. um. That is not the one that I want. Where is the actual map? The actual map. There it is. There it is. Okay, it's loading. Boop. And boop. And it still looks like a blank screen to you guys, I know. But it is loading. Hopefully.
It's loading, loading, loading.
Come on.
Rolling, rolling,
There it
rolling.
is. Okay, so. Whoops. Clicked the wrong thing. There we go. And that's not what I wanted. Thank you for working so well, computer. Okay, there we go. So, you guys are from a larger city, which would be in... I haven't decided yet. So, it's going to be in this area.
I haven't decided yet, so it's gonna be here.
Yeah, I didn't make the decision before we started, but now I have. So, it's right in this area. The wooded layer is basically just a giant, I think the word is boreal forest, but I'm not sure. It's like evergreen trees mostly. Um, so like pine trees and that sort of um, forest. Um, and it's just completely covered. If people stop attempting to like upkeep the land for a few years, trees of enormous size will just grow in the areas where uh, they leave unkept. Um, it seems as though there might be some sort of magic happening there. Um, so, in order to keep
So,
a city of this size not from overgrowing, you have to constantly have woodcutters working around the edges of the area to prevent seeds and things of that nature from growing or just cutting down the trees that grow.
or you could just send in or you could just send in a few mages and let them cast a firewall or something.
True, but they tend to not try to start a forest fire. They usually just send woodcutters in to harvest the wood that is problematic, and then it'll be good for a few more years. Um, and the trees grow fairly quickly, um, from sapling to decent size, like feet thick. It's just about a year or two. It's quick growth, and the woodcutters are constantly employed in this area. Um, so the city contains, at this point, I would say 10,000 people plus. Um, it's a pretty big city. Lots of buildings, mostly wooden buildings, though there are druids that have like living trees that they live in. Um, they use their magics to allow the tree to continue living while having a huge hole in it that they can live in. Things of that nature. Um, and there is an enclave of those druids that live on the outskirts of the cities. Um, and in this particular city, there is an enclave of these druids. Um, and they can even uproot the trees and magically animate them to move if they so desire. So sometimes a particularly bad leader will want to get rid of them and they'll just move their homes elsewhere. Um, but at the moment, the city is being ruled by a just leader, um, someone who takes care of the people, doesn't overtax them, that sort of thing. Um, Actually, genuinely cares about the people who live in his city. Um, but other than that, more recent history that might be helpful to you building your characters. Um, there's been talk of war between two different countries that, or locations technically, that are nowhere nearby, and they plan to fight elsewhere. So your people aren't entirely worried, though mercenaries have been leaving these areas or traveling through these areas to get to locations where they can be hired for the war. Um, and as a result, the law enforcement in these areas has to pick up the slack because, um, like, rich people sometimes they hire mercenaries to aid them in keeping them safe. Well, unfortunately, those mercenaries are mostly gone, so the police force has to protect these people, um, or the guards, or whatever terminology most fits. Um, so that is where your characters would be, their mindset would be. Um, Most of the resources are being strained, um, and your people that you would like, if you know how in most fantasy worlds they have a bounty board or things of that nature. Well, unfortunately, bounties aren't getting picked up as often. Um, Things like that. So you have to do the legwork. The police force has been learning to do the legwork on their own. Um, do the investigations, do the actual apprehending. Um, Bounty hunters are more scarce just because they can make more money out in the battlefields rather than here capturing petty criminals. So those are things that you can consider while thinking of how to um, get your character and mindset in the correct mindset. Um, and the king has been decreeing that, or tried to make a law before most of the mercenaries left, that if they left, they would get arrested. However, they somehow found ways out, and now you have maybe a total of 3 or 4 trying to pick up the slack where there's thousands of people in this area, and at any one time there could be hundreds of crimes happening at once. So, needless to say, your police force cannot keep up, um, or your law enforcement force. Um, and as a result, I'm going to say that your work schedule is pretty hefty. You have tons of active cases on your desks, even though you're not like detectives or anything. You're not like high ranking or anything like that. Well, you're decent because you're level 10, but you're not the highest ranked people. You're not detectives. You don't normally do the investigating, but you still have things that you're expected to look into. So each of you has a stack like of 50 active cases that each of you is working on. And when you went into work today, you were expecting to have at least 2 or 3 more show up. And you're not able to solve cases faster than you're getting them. So it's becoming a big problem.
Frustration is building up, in short.
Yes. And all of your coworkers understand your plight because they have an equally high stack to deal with. Sometimes they try to partner you up to help solve cases faster, but inevitably that just doubles your workload. So ultimately, working with someone doesn't help you, unfortunately. In some of these cases, you've looked through the stack and you see that some of them are going to take you a long time to deal with, and some of them are going to take you could probably walk out of the office and find the person who did it. But unfortunately, as per the law, you have to deal with the cases as they come in. So when you receive a case, that is the first case that you have to work on, and then when you receive more, those go on the bottom of the pile. So the easier ones are not necessarily the ones that you can tackle first. It's by royal decree that people are expected to see justice within an appropriate amount of time. So, you're just trying your best to do whatever one comes in first, which, again, some of them are extremely hard, and then by the time you get to the other ones, your evidence is gone, and those cases, unfortunately, go unsolved. So there is a lot of injustice happening. Partially because of the law, but partially because there's not enough people to do the work. And they can't. There is an ancient law that says that the law enforcement cannot conscript people. They have to volunteer or get hired. So you can't just walk out into the street and just force somebody to join the police. So, as a result, you two are, for whatever reason, we'll get into that in a minute. I assume you're not entirely finished with your characters.
Oh, I am. I'm just doing my spells currently.
Okay. If you wish, you can help your compatriot finish his character sheet.
If you wish, you can help the noob.
Basically, I was being a little more polite, but either way.
Sure. Let's see. How far are you?
Because your spells, you're relatively familiar with them, I assume.
Yeah, not all, but most. So what? Oh, you still need. So you do that. I will do all your roguish abilities.
All right.
How did you hide the stuff on sneak attack?
Oh, like that? You just click on the text.
Oh.
Not the word of sneak attack, but just the text that is there. So I will, and to make it appear again, just click right below on sneak attack and it appears again, and then.
Yeah, one thing that Geo is good at is making those macros. So if you need help with that, he can whip up something for you.
And I need to choose another expertise, and I didn't know how to.
Oh, I already did that for you.
What?
Yeah, it's not stud leather armor. So you want that as an armor? Okay, let me just add it for you.
Well, I'm only proficient in light armor, so.
Yeah.
Leather armor. There you go.
But either way, I'll go on explaining while you two work in the background. You two are working in a precinct, which is basically a section of the city. They have the city sectioned off into different areas where different sections of law enforcement are. It's good because that means that anything that happens within a different section of the city is not on your plate. But then it also means if something that's on your plate goes over into their area, you have red tape to go through in order to get into that area and investigate crime scenes and that sort of thing. So it can be annoying. But luckily, hopefully, depending on your character's disposition, you would have made allies in these different precincts, and you might be able to more easily investigate in those areas. However, that is yet to be seen. Yeah, however, that is yet to be seen. So you guys are working on in a border district, which means that anything that happens directly outside the walls, close to your area, is also part of your problem. So the city isn't perfectly circular or square or triangular or anything like that. The city is sort of misshapen, and your particular section, unfortunately, the way that the lines are cut on the map, it fans out further as you get further away from the city. You get more and more responsibility based on how your precinct is cut. So, as a result, that means that people who are far away from the city, they tend to come to you as long as they're coming from that direction, which you guys are on the northern part of the city, the northeastern part of the city. So anybody who comes northeast, or sometimes even east, are your problem as well.
Oh, you can pick 2 more expertises. So yeah, pick
Yeah,
them.
that's what he was saying.
I was wondering how you made the proficiency or the scale thingy to expertise.
Oh,
Skills to expertise.
cogwheel, and then you see your skills you can pick from.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, on the cogwheel, there's
In
options.
the cogwheel of your character sheet, I mean.
There we go. Stealth expertise.
Yeah, I already said that,
I
so
can
now
choose
pick
more.
another one you won't have expertise in.
All right. So while you,
Oh, yeah.
okay, go ahead.
Before I forget, if you, for example, pick intimidation in this one, then you also need to give the mark and then go to the cogwheel and say in intimidation, expertise. And now it works like with 11. You have an 11 in intimidation. Just an example to give an example.
All right, a little more information. As of recently, the king has become less popular, even though he's really liked. It's not like these days where politicians are super disliked, like 20% at most. This guy is up in the 90 percentile, but then once the crime started increasing and the ability to solve those crimes decreasing, his likability went from a 91% down to more of a 55%. So he's not doing well. His sanity has been struck as a result, and he sometimes just shows up in different police stations or guard posts or whatnot, and just sort of yells incoherently. He'll just be like, "You're not doing your jobs," and blah 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 blah, on and on for an hour, maybe even, and everybody is expected to listen and stop what they're doing while he's screeching at them, and then he'll just leave the police station without giving any orders or anything. He'll just say, just berate everyone and then leave. So
my character will not like.
Can you say that again? I was reading.
Okay. He just walks in. Sometimes the king will just walk into a police or law enforcement area, like their post or whatever, and he'll just yell at them for an hour, and then he'll just leave without giving any orders. Due to the fact that his popularity is going down and he gets people all the time complaining, so he just doesn't know how to deal with that situation, or maybe this is how he deals with that situation, and he just comes in at random to different places and just berates people and then leaves. So that also happens.
Urge to kill rising.
You said that already.
Yeah, that's what he said, basically. However,
yeah, or just knock a few teeth loose. Yeah.
However, he is still generally nice. He still tries to do the right thing, but he just gets angry and doesn't know how to control it. Maybe you're not sure on the reasoning. Like I said, he usually doesn't even give orders. Sometimes he'll be like, work on this particular case until it's solved, and then leave. But usually he'll just say, you're not doing well enough. Just start doing better. After a long tirade. Sometimes some of it you don't know what he's talking about. So perhaps he's talking about something that you haven't heard of, or he'll just be rambling about something that you have no idea what his sentences strung together even mean. So he's starting to come apart at the seams, but like I said, he's still relatively a nice person. Other than that, he still doesn't raise the taxes high. He doesn't force people to do anything that they don't want to do. He doesn't just carry his political opponents off and they're never seen again. He doesn't do anything like that. He's just not being sane anymore.
You sure it's not the Beholder anymore?
That's a different one. Yeah, that's a different storyline in a different world altogether.
I had to make a joke.
Yes, that's fine. Either way, yeah, he's becoming less liked, but he still tries to do the right thing. And so, I assume that you guys are just about ready, or just doing stuff that can
Yeah, I
be done
don't know
later?
what else I can help him with. I just told him to just tell me what he needs help with, and I will help.
I shouldn't have pressed that attack. I got a natural 20 just to try it out if it worked. Fuck.
That's what you get for it, damn it. Don't. I even rolled for you to see what it would be. A nice 18 without the sneak attack. Oh yeah, now I think about it. Your sneak attack hasn't been set up yet.
Okay, well...
Let me set that up.
Ooh.
So, I assume the only things that he has to pick are his magic items and stuff like that?
Yeah, that as well. I already picked that stuff and such. Like I said, I'm fast.
Okay, So before we do anything else, if he needs help, he can ask. But before we get into that,
I'm sorry for being a bit slow. I have dyslexia, so it takes me quite a while to read up on a new character.
yeah, that's okay.
Meh, no problem. I have it as well, but I learned to fight it and just go.
I could have made a barbarian easy enough. That was the first character I ever made, so I know the barbarian in and out. But
Yeah, that's okay.
I've already tried a barbarian, so I kind of didn't want to make a new barbarian.
Yeah, that's okay.
Look, I already made the paladin. I liked it, so I kept the barbarian.
Yeah, but I haven't tried everything yet, so I don't know what I'm gonna like most.
Yeah, that's okay. You can take your
Are you
time.
kidding me? 5d6 and a sneak attack?
But
Yes.
here's what we're.
Oh.
It increases
what we're gonna
every
do.
few levels.
Yeah.
But go on before I interrupt you, Ken.
Yeah, that's okay. So the first thing what we're gonna do is you guys are on precinct. Let's just come up with one.
You said just
guys-
at northeast, if I was
Yeah,
correct.
The northeast precinct, but I didn't give it a number yet. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna say you guys are on precinct 13. Which, yes, 13 is technically an unlucky number to some people, but yes, that is part of why I chose that number. Some people just call you what's the phrase that I'm looking for?
In Norway, we usually call the police the bad man. Or in
Bad
Norwegian,
man is
it's
coming.
Styggeman.
Yeah.
Directly
Stygman is
translated,
coming.
the
You better
ugly
watch
man.
out. He's gonna stick to you.
Yeah, the ugly man. He's gonna take it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are on the difficult precinct, as they call it. Yours technically covers the most landmass due to the fact that it's on the edge and the way that it's cut on the map. It just sort of fans out, and it covers more land outside of the actual city. So, as a result, you guys are in this precinct. Currently, I'm going to say that both of you are in the actual precinct building, working on some paperwork that you have to finish up due to having to deal with whatever case that you were just previously finishing. And I'll say that you guys' desk is currently in the same room. So, what I'm going to say is you guys are sort of just writing down with your inkwell and quill, just sort of writing a report of what you just did out in the field. It's currently midday, approximately noon to 1 o'clock, somewhere in between that range. And you guys are just hurriedly working away. However, we're going to start with you guys didn't change your names yet.
Oh,
I was busy with that.
So, I'm just going to refer to you as your names for now. So Geo,
Yeah.
if Preben's character were to glance in your direction, what would he see?
A very burly, a very tall, and black dragonborn. Just working, mumbling to himself, not glad that he needs to do paperwork.
Yes. Even though your character's disposition might be against it, you've probably been reprimanded multiple times, and you're on probation. So they're watching you to make sure that you actually do the work that you're supposed to. Because if this is the character that I think it is, You basically murder people, and then you get in trouble for it, that sort of thing.
What?
However,
How do you mean? How do you mean?
however, so your character's name is Ragvar? Rago
Vogar. And
Ravogar?
the last name is Underchronic. I did it on accident just to. I will tell you this. It translates to the impatient.
Okay, that's fine. So Ravogar.
The impatient. That's it in common, but he's not gonna tell that anyone.
Okay,
That's something he keeps to himself.
So, you currently have a couple of your superiors, just sort of, they've moved to their workstations near you, and every once in a while you see them glancing over at you, just to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
They just get glares back like, I will come in there and throw you out the window next time.
Yeah, they're just glancing at you. They know that you get the job done, which is the only reason why you're still here, really. You've gotten yourself in trouble multiple times, and they're only here because you're only here because you solve cases, you do the work, you get it done. So they're willing for the guillotine or whatever, but you kill them without bringing them in, and you get in trouble, that sort of thing.
Guess what he does? He goes like,
well, either way, they just deal with it just to make sure that you're getting your work done. That is what Prebin's character sees. So, has Prebin chosen a name?
Yeah, I'm.
oh yeah. He also sees a pile of already broken, pens. Just a pile of them every time one breaks. Chucks one on the pile, gets a new one out from his drawer.
Yeah, you're using quills.
Yeah, quill. So if one breaks, he goes like, chucks, new one.
Yeah. There's a very small pile forming behind you. However, sorry for the interruption. Your name is Abraxas?
Abraxas, yeah.
Alright. So, if, getting used to the names, Ravogar, I'm trying to get an easy way for me to remember it. Ravogar, if Ravogar glances over at you, Abraxas, what does he see?
Do I have any kind of backstory, or?
For now, we'll just stick with just
keeping
what
it
you
simple.
look like.
Okay. You see a tiefling that is kind of just sitting with his feet up on his desk because he's couldn't care less right now.
All right.
Basically.
So he's just sort of leaning back. Any particular armor or anything of that sort?
Yeah, just the regular studded leather armor.
Okay. It's not dyed any weird colors or anything?
Nah. It's kind of red, and I have a black cape on.
All right. Cool. Any particular color of tiefling?
Black.
All right. Cool. So.
Really red glowing eyes.
All right. Embers.
Yes.
Burning embers just sort of glancing around the room. And for you, Ravogar, you sort of glance over at him, and you see him just leaning back as if he has not a care in the world. And that sort of ticks you off a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, it
Because
does.
you are being so punished, and he is just not being punished at all. So you glance over and you see him doing that. If you wish to react to that at all, you can.
Yeah, just the quill I'm holding goes snap.
Alright. Abraxas, you sort of hear a slight snapping noise. And you glance over and you see Ragovar, someone you've seen around the precinct, just sort of looking at you, staring daggers.
Not throwing them yet.
I open my desk and I pull out 2 glasses and a bottle of any kind of spirit or something. I walk over
Okay.
and I give him a glass of booze.
Okay. So, do you want something hard, or do you want something low alcohol content, or what?
Hard. I was thinking one of my flaws is basically almost an alcoholic.
Oh
Okay.
god.
So, he comes up and the bottle reads dragon piss. And he just pours you a glass. A little shot glass. Your superiors are sort of glancing over at you to see what you do.
The glass won't survive this.
Alright, so what do you do?
The glass is 1 second in my hands, the other second it is in pieces.
You just grip it.
Trying to burn him with my eyes while I'm holding it, just slowly crushing the glass more and more in my hands.
Alright. You witness this, Abraxas. Seems like he's not in the mood to make friends.
I just shrug my shoulders, starts like sipping straight from the bottle, and walk back to my own desk.
Alright.
So, as he's sipping from the bottle, a quill at ridiculous amount of speed just goes straight to the bottle, hopefully cracking it and breaking it.
Alright,
What?
if you're wishing to deal damage to his bottle, you're going to have to make an unproficient range attack.
Not my bottle.
Yes, your bottle.
And his bottle has an AC. So, let's see if you...
Let's see. 19.
You just barely hit the bottle, and I'll give you 1 damage. And the bottle gets little cracks in it. However, it doesn't shatter or anything.
So the quill's just stuck in it.
Yes.
I just turn back and look at him, and I say, "Well, I guess I gotta finish it faster now."
Alright. Your superiors are staring daggers at you, Ragovar.
I'm staring long swords at them.
One of them, a female half-elf. So, yes, one of those stereotypes. You assume that she got her position because of her good looks. And she sort of walks over to you, and she pulls up a chair, and she motions for Abraxas to go sit back down. Does Abraxas sit back down?
Yes.
Alright. She sits next to Ragogar. Ragvolgar?
I think I'm gonna start using Norwegian names from now on. Just
Ravogar.
for you.
Alright. I'll start calling you Rav, because I have a hard time with it. So, for now, I'll call you Rav. So, she sits next to you. She, even though you don't like her much, she is the more tactful of your bosses, willing to deal with you more pleasantly than the others. And she just sort of sits next to you in this chair, places her hand on your shoulder, and says, "Don't let him get to you."
Easier said than done when he gets off with, well, that.
She looks over at Abraxas, and Abraxas, this is a look that you're used to getting. Um, she's sort of just looking at you as if you are less than garbage. She just glances over at you with that look on her face. Any reaction?
I don't care. I just continue sipping on the bottle.
All right.
I'm not completely like sipping. I'm just like sitting there and doing nothing, just watching up into the air and taking a swig.
She goes. She whispers to Rav. She goes, "He'll get his. Don't worry. He just somehow keeps getting better and better recommendations from higher up. And Abraxas, you know that you have been forging these recommendations from higher up since you've started here, but no one else knows this yet." Yeah, you've been forging documents this entire time too. Keep getting recommendations and commendations and things of that nature.
Whatever to pay the bills, eh?
Yeah, so that way you don't have to do as much work, but you still get the accolades. She just turns to you, or to Rav, and says, "Eventually we'll figure out how he's always doing so well."
Well, I've seen slipping him here and there, but not enough to actually get him.
Look, I know you're in a tough situation. Killing that unarmed man in the middle of an alleyway just was the last straw.
Yeah, unarmed, that's what they all find out, but once you look real close and know my situation, he wasn't that unarmed.
Yes, we are attempting to plead your case that he was a magic user, and he could have easily gotten out of the situation if you hadn't taken final action on him. But unfortunately, our glorious ruler doesn't see it that way.
Yeah, glorious, more mad in my eyes.
Just keep working away. We'll try to help you out any way we can, but for now, just write your report. And this time, try not to make as many mistakes. And she sort of motions towards your piece of paper that has, like, whenever you break one of your quills, it leaves, like, this line that goes off the page. And she just walks away after that.
Yeah. So I checked the paper, how many mistakes are there on there currently?
You broke 5 quills just on this page.
How? Just on this page, okay. How many total of the pages have I not read with those mistakes?
You've done about 5 pages, and each one averages about 10 mistakes on it.
So how many more do I need to go on this report? Whole report, so to say.
Well, considering the excruciating detail that you're going through due to the fact that you have restraints on you, and if you don't write this excruciating detail, you might get in trouble, you got about half a page left.
So let's see, that is about...
And all that you've done is go to someone's house and question them and then come back.
Yeah, that's about 60 mistakes total.
Yes.
I'm going to deal with that, I'm just going to leave those mistakes in.
Yeah.
Gives them more
However,
time to
she just-
figure it out.
Either way, she just walks back into her area where she is currently writing down some information. You're not sure what she's currently working on. You'd have to approach her in order to see that, and you're not sure whether or not you'd get in trouble for doing that yet.
Yeah, and Feeban, I just fixed your hit points. You have way more than you thought.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
Abraxas
gonna ask you about that because I put in like 51 and now it's 71.
Yeah, you have 71 hit points because you didn't add your Constitution modifier.
Oh,
You're
Well,
welcome.
thank you.
Yeah, so you had 20 more hit points. So
That
that's
is
good.
actually pretty a lot.
You're just 7 hit points lower than me.
Which he's a paladin, so that says a lot,
Yeah,
actually.
but are you a tanky paladin?
22 AC.
Okay, so you are a tanky paladin.
Yes, I'm big, buff, and I can smash everyone's face in it wants to get a problem.
Well, anyway, after about
My voice.
20 minutes, you finally finish your current report, Rav, and you're just making sure the sheets of papyrus, which you are currently using, it's the only type of paper that they're allowing you to use.
It is the cheapest.
And you're sort of just looking at your different sheets of papyrus, making sure that everything you've written is factually honest this time. And you set the sheets straight. And as you're about to get up from your desk and head to your mean boss's desk to give him the paperwork, he's the one with the huge cigar in his mouth, and he's constantly smoking the entire day long. And as soon as he finishes one, then he just puts the the butt of his cigar into the ashtray and then gets another one. So,
It would be very unfortunate if he just found them in a puddle of acid.
however, he's currently halfway through his current cigar. As you're about to approach his desk, when you hear what sounds like horses outside, like 6 or 7, and you sort of just turn around and you see what looks like a 7-horse, like this carriage is being pulled by 7 horses, and it pulls up next to the outside of the precinct. And both of you do recognize who this carriage belongs to. It unfortunately belongs to your great and almighty ruler.
Yay.
So, another door is open, and I just put in earplugs, knowing what's gonna come.
Alright.
I downed the whole bottle and put the bottle in the trash.
Alright. You had about 10 shots left worth of alcohol left in it, and you just down the whole thing. Later, you're going to be having a hard time walking. But at this moment, you don't care about that.
But I've been an alcoholic for years.
Yes. So, unfortunately, you witness as your haggard ruler enters the doors to this particular precinct. He sort of looks unusually disheveled, actually. His clothes are partially ripped and dirty. Usually he looks... He at least keeps up appearances. He looks nice, usually. However, in this moment, he just doesn't look good at all. He sort of just stumbles into the door, and he's wearing, when they looked perfect and pristine, they would have been like yellowish garments with an owl bear's head on his in the middle of his chest, that's sort of just motioning down as if eating something off the ground. And he's and the owl bear's head is in dark black, and the beak is in more of a green color, which you can think whatever you wish, but it's like a yellow garment with a black head with a green beak in the middle of his chest. He's just got bright yellow clothing. It's supposed to be, the yellow is supposed to be for symbolizing the Church of Senna, and her brilliant light, and he's supposed to be the bringer of her light. However, in this moment, you definitely do not see that. As he stumbles in the door, and his head is just sort of hanging down, his shoulder-length hair is just blinding his face, obscuring his face from you, as he just sort of stumbles forward towards where where your bosses are. The female half-elf sort of just is covering her mouth and sort of about to walk forward to help him as he stumbles into someone's desk and pushes the papers off of their desk. Everybody is now currently watching him. He's not a very good sight to behold at this moment.
So my character is just the hand on their chin, just going, there we go again.
And he stumbles forward into the area where your bosses are, and he goes, "Fleck!" And he just sort of wipes his hair out of his face. And like I said, your good boss is about to walk forward and try to help him, and then he just sort of waves her off, smacking her hand away. And he goes, "There! What are you guys doing here? You guys are so bad at your jobs, you know?" Yeah. And you can look him over if you wish, to see if you notice anything else. The most pertinent stat would be medicine, if you wish.
Let's see if I can do better. I don't think so. Oh, damn, I do better.
It's a little bit better.
Well, both of you are able to see this. He appears drunk, which is sort of uncommon for him. He doesn't drink often. So at least that is what is known about him, that he doesn't drink at all, hardly, if ever.
Get up from my desk, move over him, and slap him on the back.
All right. I'll count it as being poisoned. He sort of just goes, What was that about? Why'd you do that?" And his voice is a lot calmer.
Just head back to my desk, telling him to thank me later.
Alright, but that isn't the only thing that you noticed about him when you got the 14. However, with the 12, you just barely did not succeed. You needed a 13 to notice this. He looks injured. The reason why his clothes are ripped is because it appears as though something ripped his clothes and then into his flesh.
Yeah,
And
so first slap was
obviously-
laceration, second slap was a cure wounds. So 2 pats
Right.
on the back, like, there you go.
And you see his wounds close up, and he goes, and he sort of straightens himself up a little bit, noticing that he's a little disheveled, whereas before he didn't. And he goes, "How dare you touch the king without permission?" And he just sort of straightens his clothes. Although you see by the expression on his face, he's actually slightly grateful that you stopped him from embarrassing himself more than he's acceptable doing. So you sort of did something good, even though he is trying not to show it. And you can plainly
Yeah,
tell.
so my
Trying not.
character goes like, yeah, arrest me later.
And he goes, "Either way, you," and he points to the guy with the cigar in his mouth. He goes, "You're going to need to investigate what happened to me. You guys are falling down on the job, just doing all the wrong things." And he starts looking at everybody. "Why didn't you protect me?" And everybody's just sort of staring at him. And he goes, "Gods, no wonder we're not doing so well, and everybody hates me, and everyone hates you, and the world's just hating and hating." And he just starts going on with gibberish about how.
So I grab one of the stacks of paperwork I have on my closet and just slam it on my desk. Turn around, slam another one on my desk. Turn around, slam a third one on my desk, and then just put both hands on top of them and look at him and says, "Yeah, we totally don't have any work here."
He goes, "Those should have been done months ago." And
Those are done.
he looks at one of them, and he goes, points to it, and he says, "This was given to you months ago."
Done, done, done. This one over here, on the other side of the table, is not done.
And then he looks at the ones that you're doing and sees that they're actually, most of them are relatively recent. And he goes, "Fine, you're working within acceptable limits. But still, how come you don't have time to protect your king?"
Oh gee, what was it again, boss? Cause if I were to say I might insult our king.
He sort of just looks at you, stares daggers at you, and goes, "Fine, you're the one who's being put on this job." And he goes, "You got any other problem cases that you want to send my way?" And the guy with the scar actually points to, he points to Abraxas, and he goes, "Fine, you're on the case too. Anyone else?" And everybody else just looks at him, befuddled, and he goes, "Fine." And he just sort of storms out, goes back
So
to his
as
office.
he's storming out, I pick up the stacks that I was done with and slam them even harder back down onto the closet.
And he leaves the precinct and gets in his carriage, and he rides off.
I get it from my desk and tell everyone I'm going to need my own time a little bit. I'm basically going into the interrogation room to blow off some steam.
All right, Abraxas, you witness this, and you
All I'm
also
hearing is muffled screaming.
No, you hear screaming, you hear roaring, you hear things being thrown around.
But Abraxas, you are also aware that somehow you got roped into all this situation. Actually, you were aware of how you got roped into this situation. Your mean boss just pointed at you during that tirade. So, while he's having his temper tantrum, if you wish, you guys can, Abraxas can do whatever he wishes.
Well, I obviously know that the guy that I'm gonna work with now kind of fucking hates me.
Yes, that's true.
I walk towards the desk of the guy with the cigar in his mouth.
Alright. He's sitting there, and he goes, "Yeah, what do you need?"
Just look into his eyes and say, "Why?
You're
You're putting
annoying.
me in a case with that guy?
You're annoying.
I'm annoying? Listen to that!" And I'm just pointing at the interrogation room.
Yeah, a loud...
A chair just hits the door.
Yeah, a loud smash and cracking sound of wood just emanates through the entire station, and he goes, "Yeah, well, at least he gets his work done. What do you do? Everyone has to write your reports for you."
That's because I do it the easy way.
And he goes, "Well, I'm the one stuck with doing it, so you're doing this work, and that's it."
I'll be right back. Well, nature's calling, so to say.
Alrighty. Anything else you wish to bring up to this guy?
Well, at least I don't break shit.
He goes, "I'd rather you we just take money out of your paycheck than have to do your work for you."
I just pull a flask out of my my.
Even though you just finished that other bottle.
Yeah, but this is a flask. This is not a bottle.
He goes, "Gah!" as you leave his area.
I just walk towards the interrogation room, listening to all the rambling. I should probably finish when he's back. I'm just gonna knock politely on the door. "Hey there, you okay in there?"
Yeah, hopefully he's not too long. But
when he's already gone, I'm just gonna run and grab a beer.
Alrighty. We can take a short break.
Ugh.
Well, that didn't take long.
The sounds of gods. I keep it close by.
Yeah, I wish I had a mini fridge in this room. Unfortunately, I do not.
Well, right now up here, when the only thing you kind of need to keep anything cool is a window.
Well, that's the same here, but...
Yeah, you live in Canada. That's true.
Yeah, I'd rather keep the warmth inside, however.
Don't
well,
you
it
guys
is winter time at the moment, so...
Yeah, don't you guys make snow fridges?
Up north.
What, you don't have snow where you live?
Not at the moment.
Huh.
In the summertime, it's more warm here.
So I'm back.
Alright, so
Welcome
here's
back.
what happened. He went to the boss guy, and he chewed him out for being forced to do his work for him. Which is why he pointed him out. And he decided to come towards the interrogation room. and knocked on the door, and he was like, "You okay?"
It was more like, "Hey, buddy, you done?"
Yeah, that sort of thing. So
Door just creaks open
Slowly.
for a second,
yeah, you
then
see.
slams open
Yeah, you see the
before
person.
just a hand stops in front of him, just going like, "Oh, I so want to grab you."
Yeah, you see the guy who you are now stuck on a case with due to your insolence and his annoyance.
Now,
I
where's
just
this stupid
I just start-
file?
I just start looking at him and I just say, "Listen here, little temper tantrum. I don't like you and you
Oh
don't
God!
like me.
Now you done it.
I don't like you and you don't
You
like
are
me.
being grabbed.
That's fine. Let's just do the fucking job and get done with it."
You're being
we can
grabbed and
finish the
dragged around.
The faster we finish the job, the faster we can just sit across in the room and glare at each other, hating each other that way.
Alright, so are you
Fair
attempting
enough.
to grab him?
Yes.
Alright. Do you wish to be grabbed?
Fuck no.
Alright, you can
Beat a
roll.
26.
You can roll athletics or acrobatics against his.
A natural 1. Nice.
You have
Oh.
been grabbed.
Yeah, you expected your words to solve this situation, so you didn't expect to have to dodge. Unfortunately, he grabs you. Now, what do you wish to do with him?
I'm just gonna drag him around.
Where?
But like, after my
I'm just
case-
going outside. I'm just going towards the file. Just shove the file in his hands and say, "You're holding on to this and reading it out."
Why? It's a new case.
'Cause I say so.
Also, there is no information gathered, so you just grab an empty folder.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
just gave him an empty folder to basically report the findings we do.
It has paper in it, but it has nothing written on the pieces of paper in it.
So,
So
did the
it's-
king give us any information where it happened, what happened, or whatever?
The nice boss approaches you and says, "You were there. You saw him. We have no
Yeah,
other information on what happened. We have no idea that anything happened
Uh,
until he just came in."
right.
I just look at her and say, "Sup, sugar tits," and I take another swag from my flask.
So, as I hold him, I'm going to force him to the ground now as he says sugar tits.
She goes, I'm gonna have to pronounce your name this time. So, Ravoka, calm.
Yeah.
I can handle myself. And she will continue to hold him. And she gets you to lift him up towards her.
Lift him up like the doll he is in my hand.
And she looks you right in the face and she says, "You're the ugliest man I've ever seen. You have no chance."
Shut
Did you
down.
Did you actually think I was hitting on you? That's kind of sad.
And she raises an eyebrow. "Oh, your true intent was so poorly masked by your bravado that I couldn't tell why you were saying what you were saying. Go ahead, explain it to everyone." And everyone turns around and starts staring at you.
Yeah, little man. Tell everyone why you said that.
I just start drinking from the flask.
As he
goes-
drinks, I use my other hand to grab onto the flask.
Do you allow him to break your flask?
No.
Alright, so it's the same thing. Same rolls against each other.
Ha!
He manages to put it in his pocket, and she notices that you're trying to stop him, and she just takes your hand, places her hand on yours, and just sort of moves your hand back, and goes, "Don't worry. He's not worth your time. Just get him out of here. And she goes and sits back down.
Yeah, before she even leaves, I look at her like, I give her a look like, and then just nod my eyes to the window. Window?
She goes,
She goes, what?
she's just sort of waving her hand in acceptance.
I just drag him in glee to the window so they can throw him out.
Luckily, this window has no glass in it. But
This window just leads to the back alley, knowing that people are mostly thrown by me if I'm annoyed.
I don't
Yeah,
allow
There
her
is
to
a trash
throw me.
can that is like filled with softer material to land in.
no, there's nothing like that. However,
Oh, God.
there are like 3 homeless people just sort of sitting in the alleyway. And they witness you as you do it.
2 net 20s?
You can roll against him if you want, but it's a natural 20.
And that 20 will be acquired.
I would have laughed my ass off if I also gotten 2 natural 20s.
However, that did not happen. And the homeless people just sort of go, "Rah!" as you just sort of land next to them. And you hear one of them go, "Oh, not again!" as he runs away.
I will see you in front.
Apparently that has happened before.
Do I take any damage?
No.
Okay.
He just throws you on the ground. It's more of an insult than an actual injury.
He
Yeah.
didn't threw me to the ground. He threw me through a window. That wasn't
The
a window.
open window.
An open window. He threw me through an open window.
And it's a single-story building, luckily, so you just land on the ground.
I'm beginning to think that I'm the nice guy.
I tell you, I will see you in front.
Alright, you guys, I assume, head to the front.
Yeah, I light up a cigarette and I go to the front.
Are you sure about that cigarette? Because that cigarette might end up in your mouth very well.
I don't care.
Alright, so...
Just remember, I'm playing character, no hate onto you.
I know. And I'm also playing character. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Certainly doesn't sound like a certain person we know.
Alright, so what is your first course of action?
Against my cigarette or for the case?
Pertaining to the case.
Yeah, I have my equipment with me and go, well, how good can it track?
What?
He's basically asking what your survival stat is.
My?
Yes.
0?
So his
Okay,
answer
just as
is
well.
not... Yeah, his answer is not good at all.
Well, question was that if you were good at it, then I was gonna ask you to track the card trails from the king. But apparently, since we're both shit at it, let's try and see what we can do with cooperation.
Alright, so you guys... I'll say that you have horses. So you mount your horses that are outside the...
So if I'm helping you.
And I'm helping you. So in that case,
the answer to that is 13 instead of 19 or 15, which you could have gotten if one of you used help rather than... Either way,
well, we helped each other, so we both got a 15 and a 19.
No, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Hey, teamwork, man.
So 13. While you guys are traveling, I'm gonna need you both to work on something while you're traveling, or you can just say, you need to give what, like, let's just say you run into a person, what would be their most likely thing to know about you personally? So we'll start with Ravogar.
Well, that I am easily ticked off and a violent guy.
All right. Any events that would have happened recently that would demonstrate this?
Well, you
That
actually
they
gave
would
me an
that they would
event.
know that they would know about, like just
Mm,
everybody in the city.
chasing someone with an axe. Well, my own battle axe.
Okay, sure. Um, so Abraxas, anything?
Well, the only thing that would know about me is that I am better friends with all the outlaws than the police.
Okay.
Like I'm like a really bloody dirty cop.
Mhm. Okay. Um, any particular thing that people would know about you as soon as they saw you? Like
Oh,
people on the street.
yeah, that's the guy who witnessed the murders, then who witnessed murders and just walks away.
Okay. So perhaps some criminals are spreading rumors about you that you're easy to get along with if they need to. That sort of thing.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, that is now rumors.
Yes, but from everybody else's standpoint, they don't know if it's true or not. But either way, so you guys start walking down the street, or riding your horses down the street. And with a 13, you see the obvious trail marks. It's not hard to spot. 7 horses with wagon wheels in the dirt, and you continue to follow it. And it leads to a place that you probably would expect him to be. It leads directly to his estate, if you will. He doesn't have a castle. He has just a big house.
So I just basically ask him, did we follow it in the wrong way? Because I guessed he wouldn't be here. Well, where it happened, at least.
But his carriage is outside his house.
Yeah, wrong place.
Were we trying to follow the tracks back to where he got assaulted?
Yes, what else?
Oh, okay, I misunderstood. In that
okay.
case, in that case, you follow the tracks back to a bar, and then from there they go back to his estate.
Nice.
The bar it is.
The bar it is. To the tavern.
You're not leaving my reach. You're staying within my 5 feet so that you can't just get away to the booze.
How much gold do we actually have?
I'll say that you each have 20 gold to do like anything that's needed for investigations. Like if you need to pay to get past somebody so that way you can do your investigation, then they give you a little bit of gold to do that.
So we don't have our own salary?
I'll say that you either spent it all or you have it stored elsewhere that you can't have access to it at the moment.
Well, I have my reasons why I need to sometimes give back my salary.
Yeah. We always get new chairs down at the precinct.
Yeah, you
There,
haven't
or
been
the
paid
billions of quills I break.
Yeah.
You haven't been paid a regular paycheck in years.
I've just drunken it all up.
Yeah. So, you arrive at the tavern. This one is called the Screeching Owlbear. That's the name of the tavern, if you care. And
So I look at him and say, "Are you gonna go in first, or am I gonna go in first?"
Well, I know this place. I can go in first.
Don't. If you're. I'm gonna get in 10 seconds later, and if I see you drink at the bar, you're gonna have problems.
Hey man, you can't ask question without blending in, dude.
All right. As you enter the bar is got maybe 4 people in it, other than the bartender and anybody who works in the back. So there's not many people in here. If you wish to talk to the people, they're all spread out. 2 of them are unconscious, just sort of face down in a puddle of drool at their table. They're both human, the unconscious ones. There's one who just, you can't tell what they are, as in race or anything. You just see a cloaked figure sitting in a booth at the back. Like, you come in and then you turn to the left and there's booths on the left wall. One of them is just sitting, somebody's just sitting in there. And you see an older dwarf sort of just sitting at the bar, and he appears to have a meal rather than actual drinks. But he has a drink next to it. But he's currently eating an afternoon meal of some sort.
Hmm.
And then there's the bartender, which is also human.
Yeah, so can I know the bartender since I'm an alcoholic? Or
His name is Roger.
Roger. So I just walk up to the counter and sit next to the dwarf and just say, Roger, my man, give me the usual.
He goes, starting early, I see, as he turns around and starts grabbing some bottles. He's actually making your favorite mix of hard liquors.
No, my usual is always the biggest, strongest, cheapest drink.
All right, so dragon piss it is. He just takes the bottle of dragon piss and he just walks over and sets it in front of you. That'll be 3 gold. And it's a pretty big bottle. It'd be enough for a regular person for months, like 2 or 3 months. But for you, it's
a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not as long for you. So that's why it costs so much.
I ask Roger while I'm sipping at the drink, and I ask Roger if he's had the good fortune to be visited by our Lord and Savior, the King, recently.
He sort of raises his eyebrow and he goes, "What's it to you?"
What's it to me?
Yeah, as he sort of goes like this.
Come on, Roger. I can put your kids through college with all the money I spend at this bar.
Yes, but they're going in for the long haul.
I give him 5 pieces of gold.
He goes, "Yeah, the king was here. He looked kind of funny, too. He was stumbling out of here. Just making a fool of himself."
Did he look beat up?
When he came in, yeah.
So he was already beat up when he came in?
Yeah.
Did he talk to anybody?
If you call trying to romance the stool next to him, then yes.
Like the literal stool, or did he hit on this guy?
He points to the stool that's right next to where you're sitting, and it has, like, lip prints on it.
Yeah. So he didn't talk to anybody. He didn't say where he was or where he came from, or...
The only words he spoke was, "I need a drink." And he put a sack of gold down, so I didn't question him.
Are you telling me you just pulled 5 gold out of my own pocket and you got a sack of gold earlier?
It's the king. Who am I to refuse?
You're not a good friend, Roger.
I never said I was your friend.
You're my friend.
I'm your barkeeper.
Exactly.
He goes, you don't realize how this relationship works, do you?
Yeah, I pay you, you give me drinks, and I get happy, you get happy. Your kids get to go to school.
Right. So I'm not your friend, I'm your business partner at best.
You have just to remind you, you have a very big, very tall, very angry black dragonborn outside waiting for you.
You said you were going to come
Perhaps
in
a
10
bit
seconds.
of
You
a
can go
pressure
in.
laid onto Roger.
You can go in and you can see the same people that he saw.
No,
You
I'm
said
just
you were
waiting. I'm just expecting if I were to go in, everyone freeze up or just becoming very, very scared.
Well, you can assume whatever you wish. However, he's still in there. So, are you going to continue this friends argument with him?
Not cool, Roger, but I like you.
He goes, I know, as he pats you on the shoulder and goes to the dwarf.
Sly dog.
He starts cleaning up the dwarf's plate that he has that he finished eating. And the dwarf takes his stein, which is the big mugs of, I'm sure you're familiar, that ale and those sorts of things come in. And he just sort of, it has a lot of foam on the top, the stereotypical large foam bubble on the top. And he just sort of drinks. And he gets like a foam mustache from it, even though he has a regular mustache. But he doesn't seem to care about it. And he just sort of sitting there.
Well,
The bartender goes in the back with the dishes.
I asked the dwarf if he was sitting next to the king when he was here.
He goes, I wasn't here long though.
So he just came in, bought a drink, kissed the stool, and left.
Well, he bought more than one. And drank them pretty fast too, even for a dwarf. Which the king is human.
It's not a whole lot of information.
Sorry, friend.
Are there windows in the bar?
You sort of glance around. They're shuttered closed.
Well,
Like
fuck.
they have the shutters over them.
Well, I walk out to the anger management issue, standing outside waiting.
That's actually one of the flaws I write down.
Alright. So, standing there.
As you walk out, I was just literally contemplating to ask if I should roll to see if I can keep my temper.
Alright. You see him exit.
Grab him by the scruff of his neck.
Okay,
Do you
I just
allow
walked
him
out
to
of a
do it?
bar and you're trying to kill me.
No,
Alright,
I'm not gonna try and kill you. I just say, what did you found out?
Absolutely nothing. Although he was beat up before he came to the bar.
That's something.
That's pretty much all he learned. That was useful anyway. He did
So,
learn
yeah.
a few other things, but they weren't useful.
So yeah, we are going to look, well, trying to find where it might have happened.
Is there anybody outside the bar, like a drunk idiot, like half asleep outside the door, that Roger kind of threw out before the king entered?
Sure, make a perception check. See if you notice someone useful or not.
So see him look around and ask him, the hell are you looking for?
And since he's asking you that question, it distracts you, and all you see is A very unconscious man sitting next to the doorway that you saw when you came in.
Sweet. I walk up to the unconscious man and just kind of like kick him in the side. Hey.
And he goes, what? 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 And he seems to be blinking feverishly. Who are you?
My name is Arabax. This is my colleague. Dude.
Wow, you're a big one.
Just give him a very toothy grin.
And he has like the entire top row of his teeth are missing. He's a human. And his bottom teeth, he has like 5 teeth. And he just looks up at you, and he would give you a toothy grin if he could. Unfortunately, you have to settle with what you get, which is a smile that has no teeth.
Sweet. I ask him for how long he's been sitting outside the door.
Well, what time is it now?
And
he looks up in the sky. It's a lot brighter than when I sat down.
Well, that's a good sign.
He knows something.
Well, have you been asleep all this time?
Well, I sat down. I remember that.
Have you seen the king come by?
Oh, the king. Let's see. And he goes, yes, over there. And he points to a statue of the king.
I'm just seeing Rev's face getting kind of redder. And I start kind of smiling a little bit.
He's just smiling hugely, even though he's got no teeth and he can hardly see because his eyes don't open far enough.
Useless, I say to you. And I just leave you just tracking the. I just tell Elpian that our outside drunk is useless, and I just go follow the tracks trying to find where the scuffle might have happened.
What tracks?
Okay.
There should be a lot of tracks outside a pub door.
That's true.
Well, the wagon tracks, because, well, we did follow them back and back to his estate, so we know the way he went between those 2 points.
It looks like they started at the estate, went to the pub, and went back to the estate, going by the precinct.
Yeah, so from the pub, I follow the tracks to the estate, trying to find where the scuffle might have happened.
Okay.
But he was beat up before he got to the pub.
Perhaps.
Yeah, so between the pub and between the estate, it might happen.
Either way, Abraxas, the old man, is currently still sitting there, looking up at you. Was that helpful?
Yeah, buddy. And I kind of like pat him on the shoulder.
And he goes, cool! Why aren't you going to the statue? I thought that's what you wanted to. Whatever. And he looks at Rav walking away from the statue.
I follow anger management issue.
And you hear him go, hope to see you soon.
I'll be by soon.
And he goes, bye. The happiest old man on earth.
Yeah. He's probably pissed drunk.
Even though he passed out hours ago. He's still drunk. Either way, you guys follow the tracks back. You're going to need to make another survival check to see if you notice anything off along the path.
I help you. I help you really good.
Yeah, you help him so good that he gets a natural one anyway. So here's what I'm gonna say. The reason you get a natural one is because it looks as though part of the tracks of the part of where the wagon wheel tracks are, it looks like something came through and just completely obscured the tracks entirely. So there's basically no, like, you see that the wagon wheels are going in a direction, and then they just cut off because there's a bunch of mess, and then they keep going later on. So perhaps something happened in between that point and that point, but you're not sure because it's just a big mess. Not even the wagon wheel tracks are still there.
Oh, I'm gonna try and investigate the mess. Hopefully it brings up something. Who knows, it's the scuffle.
Alright, you can make a check at disadvantage. Which,
Yeah, that's the no.
no. Nothing of interest. It looks like, if you've ever played, or seen media of a detective, seeing how they recreate scenes in their head, it just looks like somebody had groceries and then they spilt it all over the place and a bunch of people came to help them pick up their groceries and it just completely made a mess of the area.
Just grumble to myself and try and follow the track. Look
And
around.
the reason why you guess that that's what happened is because you see someone's celery stalk just sort of sitting in the middle of the street that they didn't pick up.
But then I'm gonna look around. Is there something out of place, out of order, anything?
Unfortunately, other than the celery stalk, not really.
Stamp on the damn stupid celery stalk.
No, you can't, because I bend down and I pull up the celery stalk and I sniff it and take a small bite. Yep, this shit is celery.
Yeah, it seems that your friend is just as good at investigating as you are on your roll. He's like, yep, that's what it is. It's actually
I
pretty
can
good.
make you burn from the inside out. I just
But
tell him
well-
that and I just follow the tracks again.
Alright, you get back to the estate.
Is there like a gate and then we get to the door, or is that just a path straight to the door?
Oh, there's a gate, and there's guards too.
So
Since
look at
you're
the.
law enforcement, you can approach the guards and they'll realize that you're law enforcement. You have like a tabard on, which symbolizes that you're part of the guard.
Yeah, so I walk up to them and just look at the two guys and say, "The king put me on his case."
They go, and one of them goes, oh, well, I guess that's why you looked so funny. Well, we'll just make sure that you're wanted here.
Wait. You're telling me that he was assaulted in his own estate?
We didn't know he was assaulted, but he looked funny when he came in. And the other guy goes, well, he just came in that way. He was gone for quite a while.
Do you know where he did go, except a bar, perhaps?
Well, that's where he requested we go to pick him up.
Great.
But
Then let's
other than
go.
that, I don't know.
Then we need to be with the king to actually ask him what the hell happened, if he still remembers that is.
So
He waves
walked,
a hand in front of you.
so
and
he
then
walked
says,
into town.
He says, just a moment. And he goes over to a pillar, and it's procedure. You're aware that this is what happens when someone tries to see the king. There's this little magical device in the pillars that allows you to directly access the king, but only guards have the ability, like, to know how to open it, like the palace guards. So that way, not every passing peasant can open the thing and try to talk to the king. So he does some sort of hand signals. You can try, if you want, to memorize the hand signals, if you want to do this for any reason. That would require a perception check.
Give
If you
it a
want
shot.
to.
I think I remember it.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do perfectly.
Yeah, it's just some arcane hand signals. Sort of like this, and then like this, and then like this, and then the thing opens. But they try to do it very quickly, so that way people can't memorize it, but you're pretty astute and you managed to memorize it. So perhaps later you could prank the king or whatever you want to do with that information. Anyway, he opens the thing and there's a little globe, like a little spherical shaped object inside. And he sort of just waves his hand in front of it and it activates. And he goes, "King, we have some visitors." And you hear him as if he's talking over an intercom. And he goes, "Well, let me see them." And you two, I assume, approach.
Yep.
All right, you two approach. And he goes, "Oh yes, those are the slackers that I got to put on my case. Let them in." And one of the guards opens the gate.
Yeah, I just walk to the gate, stomping like I want to crush that king for calling me a slackard.
And the other guard just deactivates the thing, closes the panel on the pillar, and reseals it magically. And he gets back into his post. You two go through the gate, and you approach the mansion of the the mansion is on his estate. So you go to the mansion in the middle of the city, and there's some pretty good greenery here, sort of like those hedges that are clipped to look like figures, that sort of thing. Like one
Okay,
is
so I want to do with one of them. Just spit a small glob of acid at them just to make it wilt.
there's one. I'll give you a few choices. There's one that looks like an owl bear with a man standing next to it, sort of like with his hand on its head. There's another one that looks like a lion being taken down by a guy with a sword at its throat. There's another one that looks kind of like a guy with a fishing rod, and he's got a whale attached to the fishing rod. And there's another one that looks like a deer with a man riding it with a sword and a helmet with spikes on top.
That one.
Okay. You sort of just spit at it. I'll say that it doesn't use up your breath weapon, in case you need it. It's just a little tiny amount, and it just sort of spits onto it and burns through and eats through a little bit of the roots, and then the whole thing just sort of wilts down a little bit.
So I
It's
go
going to
like,
cost
oh,
a
what a
lot of
shame.
time and money to redo that.
Dude, what the hell did you drink?
I didn't drink anything. That's just something nature gave me.
Yeah,
You're
he's a
drunk.
black dragonborn, so
Yeah,
he
but
can
I'm
spit
ignorant.
acid. That's fine. I'm just letting you know as a player in case you didn't know.
Yeah, I know about the Dragonborns.
Yeah, black dragonborns are, well, the acidity type.
Yeah, so he can spit acid with his breath weapon.
No wonder you're so toxic.
Sure.
Maybe perhaps a little bit of base could neutralize it.
Yeah, just eat some
Dirt.
anti-acid reflux medication. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Either way, he you start. Actually, I'm gonna roll something. Just for the fun of it. Since you did that. Come on. What's it doing? There we go.
Oh boy.
Yeah, someone standing on the steps of the mansion goes, "Hey! Hey!" And then he starts running over towards the thing. He noticed you spit on the thing. The guy. You don't know who he
Yeah.
is.
Now you've
But he's
done it.
dressed up in peasant clothes, but yet he's somehow in the estate of the king. You're not sure why.
Just tell him that he shouldn't call me a slacker when I'm the hardest working in there.
He goes, "Yes, but now I have to regrow a new plant and take years to... Why did you do that?" And he starts going towards it. Because you spat
Oh,
on
you
the...
can't just buy plants like that. There are mages that can grow them. There are dudes that can grow them, right?
He goes, "But that costs money and it's gonna come out of my paycheck." And he starts trying to fix it, but he can't because you burnt through the roots.
Oh, just gotta do it to fix it.
He goes, "Oh no." And he's like visibly crying.
I
I
start
think that
laughing.
you assume that guy is the gardener.
The Scruffy, the janitor.
Scruffy, oh god, why did you get the
Poor
reference?
Scruffy.
Either way, I assume you guys just keep going at that
Yeah.
point. Alright, so he's gonna try to fix the plant, but you don't know how he's going to manage to do that.
Well, druids can help with just a bit of magic of them. I told him he could do that.
He can try to do that, however, at the moment he's sort of fearing for his life/job. But either way, you do your best and then you continue, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
So, you open the front door and there's a butler standing behind it who is opening it for you, even though you're sort of pushing on it to open it. And he goes, "All right, this way, sir." And he motions for you to follow him.
Yeah, well, follow him, I guess. We
All
have
right,
no other
and this
choice.
man is dressed up in like fancy clothes. You assume he's the butler.
Mhm.
I look around everywhere for small stuff that I can fit in my pockets without getting noticed. Of value, of course.
I'm keeping an eye on him.
All right, I'll do both of those things. However, the man that you are currently following is an interesting figure. He is a half-orc who doesn't have tusks. Perhaps he had them removed or shaved down, but he doesn't have the tusks sticking out of his mouth. He has just a flat lips and mouth. And he doesn't sound like rough and tumble. He sounds more prim and proper. Probably why he was hired, but either way, you're not sure. Alright, I'm gonna get you to make an investigation check as you're walking, Abraxas. Yeah, you see some stuff worth stealing. However, you notice that your companion is watching you closely.
Okay. And what can I steal?
Oh, okay, you're gonna do it anyway. Okay, so, basically he's gonna have advantage on a perception check to see you if you try to do anything, because he said that he's specifically looking out for you to do something.
But how would he know that I was gonna steal stuff?
Just, well,
he's just suspicious.
the nice boss told me you have been sketchy, in short.
But he's still looking out for you, so he's going to have advantage to see you. But you can still try to do a sleight of hand or a stealth check, depending on what you're trying to take. You see some bright ornamental swords that are hanging on the wall. You see a bright suit of armor, sort of just standing against the wall, holding a brightly decorated spear. You see candelabras. You see, in some places, you just see like a couple coins there on the table.
Yeah, take the coins.
All right. So sleight of hand.
You have a
Damn it!
19 to beat.
He just barely beat you. So, you see him taking the coins off the table.
Smack him on the back of the head. Just smack him.
All right. You see that he noticed that you tried to take something.
I was just looking at them.
Yeah, those hands of yours. They are real good for looking. Smack.
And they looked like pretty decently made pieces. Some rare electrum pieces, to be specific.
I put him down to the table again. I'll be back for you.
Let's see if I heard that.
All right, you can make a perception check.
Ah.
Not with advantage, though.
Oh, that's a 6.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you turn that off?
Okay, it's off.
Well, how do you turn it off?
Oh, you have the cogwheel and then you can have advantage toggle.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's roll queries. Oh, let me actually do that for you since I can do that for you. There.
There, now it appears at the top.
There we go. I was looking for that.
Yeah, so now you can choose whether or not you roll at advantage, disadvantage, or normal.
Yeah, I just like to have 2 dice rolled so that I can always see it. I just did it for this time to show that it's possible.
Either way, so you guys managed to get to where the king is currently sitting, which it looks like he's just sitting in some sort of lounge area, not in his quarters or anything. Just like, it's just a room with couches in it and pillows. That's about all that's in this room. And
Yeah.
you are led into this room, and the butler sort of just motions for you to enter.
Yeah, I enter, just walk up to him, and then just... Is he sitting on the chair or just a pile of pillows?
He's sitting on a couch-like chair, and he's got his feet up on the couch, and he's just sort of got his hand in his face.
So I get close to him. Is there a chair close by that I can take and just sit on?
You can sit next to him, but there are other chairs that you can use if you want.
I just grab a chair if I need to, just lift it up and sit and put it down close to the king so they can actually just sit down and talk to him.
Sure. It's a chair big enough for 2 people that you pick up. Because unfortunately this room is not very practical in that sense. So you just pick that chair up and set it in front of him.
So, want to tell what happened, where it happened, or what was going on?
He goes, I figured you would be here sooner or later.
Yeah, because you didn't give us a lot to work with.
Unfortunately, there isn't much to work with. I had most of my most precious possession taken from me. But I don't know where, and I don't know when. I just remember waking up in the middle of the forest.
I put my hand on his shoulder and say, "Did somebody take your booze bottle?"
He goes, oh, I didn't bring one with me, but I took something else, something more valuable. It was my scepter of power. I don't know why I brought it with me. I seem to be having a hard time remembering the previous day.
Nope, I can't help with that. Because I don't have the spell yet.
And he sort of just points to a painting of him behind him. And it shows him holding his scepter. It's sort of just like a long
Gobi.
staff that he can hold next to him. And it has like a gold ball on the top of it. And he goes, "It's more symbolic than actually powerful, but it was passed down to me by my forefathers." And he sort of motions towards a line of paintings that are next to his, which are the previous rulers of this region. Some of them women, some of them men. You're not sure why some of them are different, unless if you studied history specifically. But other than that, there's just a line of people. Some of them even look like they're different races. You're not sure how that works. Unless if you
So
study.
I'm going to come with a tough question. Might be the reason for ransom or something.
Well, I haven't received anything, and they didn't take my gold either. And he sort of motions to a pouch that he has, and it's still full. And then he puts it back on his belt. So this isn't a regular robbery.
No, it's not indeed.
And he just sort of looks back at the paintings behind him. You notice that one is a dwarf. You notice that a couple are tieflings. And you notice that one is a half-orc. Pretty distant relative to him, apparently, is the half-orc. According to the line, at least. And the tieflings are there, in the middle. And the dwarf is actually relatively recent in the line. And you're not sure why they're different races. You can make a history check if you wish.
Well, here goes -1 history. 17. Oh no, 4. This is 17. 14.
Yeah. Yeah, so the drunkard actually knows the reason for this. The scepter can be passed down to whoever the king wishes when the king is on his deathbed. If the king doesn't have time to name a successor, or didn't choose one before his death, then it just goes to their child. So the reason why there's a couple tieflings is probably because a couple of the tieflings got assassinated, didn't get a chance to choose a rightful ruler. The half-orc probably got chosen and then had a chance to choose, and the same with the dwarf.
Why the fuck did the dwarf choose this idiot?
Yeah, the dwarf was the previous king before this guy. But either way,
blundering idiot. So he doesn't remember anything.
Telling us that you went to the forest today, or whatever they went to the bar, then came to the precinct, then head home.
Where in the forest?
I just remember where I woke up.
In the forest.
Well, yes,
yeah,
it was
enough.
in the forest.
Where in the forest?
The reason I came to you guys specifically is because I had the foresight of remembering when I approached the city what precinct it would fall under. And it is in your vicinity. About a mile from the city.
Not one of the other precincts. This is precinct 13 you went to. You were drunk at the time.
I got drunk after I came back to the city.
Okay, then he's pretty sure which precinct he had.
Yes, I even came through the entrance marked 13. Which is to indicate which precinct it falls under. They have entrances for each precinct. Just for this very reason.
And I guess we have enough time and place to search, because that force not gonna search itself.
And he goes, "It was about a mile away. I just woke up on a mossy piece of rock. And I didn't know where I was, so I just looked for the nearest road and came back."
Well, I will ask one of the rangers that might know what's going on.
I ask him to describe as best as he can the path to where he woke up.
He describes it, and he motions for his butler to come in, and his butler draws up a map for you from the exit to where he approximately woke up. And then the butler hands you the scroll with the map on it. Just because the specifics don't matter to the actual game.
Yeah.
So let's check out the road, check out the location, check out the forest, and if there's a forest or forestry or whatever keeper that perhaps can help.
Well, X marks the spot.
And he goes, "Before you leave, this is what troubles me most. I was meeting with a ruler from another land, when suddenly I can't remember anything."
What
Okay,
ruler?
great. So we're after high-profile people. What precinct were they in?
Well, this one, Precinct 1, but I'm going to give you jurisdiction. And he motions for his butler to come. And his butler has a document that was already written, apparently. And he just puts his signature on it. And he hands it to you and he says, "Just show this to any guard that gets in your way, saying this is not your jurisdiction."
And we can say it is, basically.
I'm giving you free reign of the city. Just so that way these roadblocks don't get in your way.
That's good to know. Well, we'll be off then.
And he also gives you a paper with the name of the ruler of the country that this guy is from. And this guy is actually a half giant from the wind buffeted crags, which apparently in the document that you have, this king wasn't sure that anybody actually lived there, that there were any kingdoms that actually existed there. And it was actually a surprise to him, so he decided to meet with this person under guard, of course. But apparently something weird happened to him during this meeting.
So the building, any guards we should speak to, because that would help to locate this king.
Oh, he is staying in a local inn. I think it was the Owl Bear's Cry. And you are aware that a lot of the establishments in this place name themselves after owl bears because that is the city animal, like what they have on their flag and on their tabards and that sort of thing. Like you're currently wearing a tabard that has an owl bear's face on it.
I think we know more than enough to continue our research.
He goes, "I am sorry for the insults. I just don't see any other way to get things going." And he just sort of puts his face in his hand again and just motions for you to leave. And the butler says, "You may leave now."
Get up and just leave. Is the gardener still, well, if we get outside, when we get outside, is the gardener still trying to work on the one that I just made wilt?
He currently isn't there.
Guessing he's getting a druid.
Guessing he is fleeing the country.
One or both of those things could be true. He could be fleeing the country and getting a druid to fix his mistake. Who knows? Or something else could be true. You don't know.
Yeah.
And for your frame of reference, the wind-buffeted crags is northeast of your current city, and you would have to go through a dangerous land called the Elemental Clash of Cold and Air.
Yes. So
or you could go by sea, which is much easier, and most people decide to do that instead. However, the wind-buffeted crags, not many humanoid people live there. It's mostly just small villages. So the fact that somebody is trying to build a kingdom there is actually kind of remarkable.
Yes, so we are heading we are heading towards, well, the inn the king told us about.
Alright,
Yes.
You head to the inn and you get there easily enough. And when you enter, there's just stairs that lead to different areas and doors that lead to different areas. However, this room is very small and just has a front desk-like area with somebody
Yes.
writing with a quill. Looks like a man with very thick glasses.
So yes, I walk up to him and ask, what room was the king in having a conversation? Oh wait, this is where that other king is staying, right?
Yes, his name... I'll pull that up for you just to make it a little easier. He is a half-giant. And he has a giant name, which is written in Dwarvish, if any of you know that. Just going to... hopefully... Yes! The perfect thing. A giant name generator. Perfect thing.
By the way, Rob, maybe you should make me do the talking.
Well, that's up to you
simple
guys.
question can't hurt.
His name is this, which I will pronounce, but I'm going to put the spelling in the chat for you. Lagos. Very regal sounding name.
Yeah. So walk up towards the halfling with the jam jar glasses and ask him, do you know where Lacos was staying, perhaps?
He looks up at you and his eyes are magnified like 10 times on his face. And so his eyes look huge in his glasses. And he goes, "Oh, yes, however, he is in the royal room. Can I take a name or..."
Yes, tell him that we are currently doing an investigation on him because something happened to the king while he was talking with him.
He goes, "Okay." And he sort of hops down off of a large stool and walks out from behind the counter and he goes, "One moment, please," as he waddles up the steps.
Up the stairs towards the room?
Yes, he's going towards the room.
Yeah, I grab him before he can even go there and go like, we don't need him to have any information, we just need to talk.
Make an intimidation check.
Good thing I gave him proficiency in that.
A really good thing.
He goes, hands off. You can't just see anybody you want just because you're a guard.
Oh, really? Show the paper. Beat that, little man.
He looks at the page, and he sort of adjusts his glasses.
The king gave this. I just put my hand on the few texts that say that we can have like jurisdiction in other districts, but just show him the royal sign that we can do things.
And he goes, fine, right this way. So he's telling you to follow him.
Yeah.
Seems as though using that is more effective than trying to intimidate him. And he waddles up the stairs. He's kind of slow, but you're used to following slow people to get your work done. And he leads you to the top floor, and this place is tall. It's like 10 stories tall. Even though it's called an inn, it's more like a multi-level hotel type area.
And this level is multi-level.
Yes. And he goes up to the top floor, and he goes...
Oh, hold on, I'm being yelled at. One moment.
Okay. I'm still going to describe what's happening. He leads you to the top floor, and he goes, this is the regal suite. As he motions towards the door, the entire floor is his room.
So I totally missed what time it was, so I just let you finish the sentence, then I'm gonna switch machines.
Okay. Yes, the entire floor is his room. The entire top floor is his room. And he motions for the door at the top of the stairs.
So then I let my colleague do the talking from this point until I'm back.
Okay. So the inn owner, if you will, he walks over to the door and unlocks it. So it is currently unlocked, and he goes, if you don't mind, I will remain close by in case you need backup.
Backup?
Well, in case you need more guards, in case something bad happens.
Do whatever you want.
Alright, the door is unlocked, you can open it.
I knock at the door.
You knock on the door?
Yeah.
There's no answer.
Well, then I
After
open the door.
a minute or two. So you open it?
Yes.
Alright, the door opens, and you see what looks like... how do I describe this? As soon as you open the door, it looks like you just entered the first floor of a palace. There is a second floor in this room. And in front of you is sort of like a statue of a woman, nude woman holding a pot of some sort, and there's water pouring out of the pot into a fountain beneath her. And there's two staircases that intersect into a upper landing, and there's rooms beneath, but there's also rooms up top.
God, I hate rich people.
Yeah.
Is there any indication of what floor this asshole might be in?
He's in this room. That's all you know. Yes, this is one room that someone could rent.
Oh. Well,
So this entire area is just someone's rented room.
I scream, hello!
You hear, hello? Your echo return to you. You don't hear anybody else, but you hear your echo.
You said it was 2 floors?
Yeah, there's 2 floors in this room.
So can I find the stairs to the second floor?
Easily. They're right in front
Well,
of you. It's like 2 huge staircases.
I go up into the second floor.
All right, you walk up into the second floor. You see 3 doors up here on the upper landing. One is directly in front of you, one is down the left hallway, and one is down the right hallway.
I yell hello again.
It echoes less this time, but still no answer.
What the hell? Oh, I'm gonna start moseying around, I guess. I open the door straight in front of me.
Yeah, and as you start walking towards the door that you're going to open, you hear the basically the hotel manager or the inn owner, if you will. He yells up, I saw him come in here, so he's got to be in here somewhere." So he's supposedly in the room.
Is the door locked?
The first door, nope. These doors aren't locked. He probably assumed that the front door would be enough. The inn owner. So the door, all these doors inside are all unlocked.
Start
So
opening doors, looking for him.
all right. I'll roll a d3 to determine which room on the upper floor you come to first. Where's my dice roller? There it is. Okay. D3. Oh wait, I have to type in D3 because there's no D3. So, see if that works. Nope, didn't work.
Would it actually be possible to make a three-sided die?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's physically possible to make one. Here we go. Okay, so you enter, and it looks like a large, like, imagine a presidential suite bedroom that you just walked into. That's basically what you just walked into. There's the bed with the posts that go to the ceiling and the curtains around the bed.
And nobody in the bed?
No, there's nobody in the bed at the moment. Actually, yes, there is. There's a figure on the bed. However, I'll describe the rest of the room first. So there's like the fancy table with the mirror and all the makeup stuff. And there's the huge wardrobe. There's a large bench just for sitting on, maybe? You're not sure. That's what benches are for. But it's just a large bench with shoes underneath it. There's a huge window that peers into the outside. Yes, and this figure is sitting on the bed, not moving at the moment.
Can I see what race it is at least?
They are obscured by the curtain, but there's enough light that you can see that somebody's there.
So yeah, I'm back. I mean,
okay, so I'm just gonna go over quick what he's seen so far. This room has multiple stories. This room that you can rent.
We're looking for a rent castle.
It has a huge staircase that leads to a second floor. There's a lower floor that has rooms, and there's an upper floor that has rooms. And this is just one suite that someone can rent.
Yeah, we're just going straight for this king.
Yes. He called out for the king twice and heard no one reply.
So yeah, I'm with him, I guess, and then as we see the king go up to him, is he like huge compared to us?
You haven't seen the king yet.
Okay, we have seen him sit, you said, right?
You haven't seen him in this room.
We're We're with a bed with like a huge bed with curtains on it. You know, like the old
Yeah, I know
people.
what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and good thing. There's one thing I can do that you can do. I can fly.
Can you fly?
However, at the moment, you don't need to do that.
Well, I could have picked the tiefling that could fly as well.
Yeah, I can fly. I can move 20 feet in flight movement because of the feet.
Yes, but either way, um,
So if it's needed that I need to like fly up to something, I can do that.
however, at the moment, it's not needed. You're just in the bedroom area, and you see a figure laying on the bed.
Yeah.
However, they are. It's like there's light behind them, and then there's a shadow being cast on the curtains, so you can see someone's in there, but you don't know who it is.
I start screaming, "Fire! Fire!" just to see what.
Okay, they're going to roll against that. See if they believe you.
Should I roll persuasion?
Deception.
Deception, yeah. It's to deceive someone.
13.
Yeah.
They believe.
All right. You hear, "Oh my!" Oh! And they start wrapping a sheet around them, and they get out of the bed, and it is a woman, human woman.
A hooker.
She goes, "Where's the fire?"
In my
Where's the
pants.
king?
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Okay, do you ask where's the king?
Yeah.
She goes, "He's not
Not
here."
the king from this town, but the other king.
Oh,
The one that's been screwing you for money.
oh, it's not entirely like that, but okay. Um, Legos is not in this room. I don't know where he went. He said he was going into another room, and he hasn't come back since. It's been about an
Where
hour,
is
but I
this other room?
don't know. He just said he was leaving this room to go into another room, and I don't know.
Well,
He hasn't come back for an hour, but I've been tired, so I just took a nap.
So you didn't check on a king that could have perhaps happened something with? Great.
In his own room? In a locked hotel room? How did you guys get in here anyway?
Just point towards the hotel keeper, I guess.
Yeah, he's standing
He's
at the
not-
entrance. You guys are on an upper floor in this hotel suite.
Yeah, I just point down to the stairs. The manager let us in, cause we have questions for this king.
Oh, well. Tell him I've been waiting for him. And she just sort of moseys on back to the bed, assuming that you lied about the fire.
Yeah, there's no
Now
fire.
I kind of want to set something on fire.
If he tries, I'm gonna kick him.
Okay. So,
Let's go watch some of the other doors. Trying to find the.
Yeah, giant king.
I mean, he's a half giant king. How hard can he be to spot?
that's true.
Not that hard, but apparently harder than you think.
Though he specifically is, the guy didn't say Goliath, so he's not half stone giant. He's half something else.
So it
So you
might
don't know.
be a tall one.
It's true. So are you going to? I assume you went to the first door. So are you going to the left or the right?
Well, we either can pick one door, so I take the right door, he takes the left, right?
Yeah, I go left, you go right. Right?
Sure. Okay, so I'm just gonna roll a d2.
To see who gets to get one shot.
Sure. Okay, so I should have got somebody to call a number, but that's fine. Who wants to go first?
Yo.
Okay.
I don't mind. Let's see if we can hit. That's the first question.
Yeah, you go first. I'm gonna go take a piss.
Okay.
Okay. Nature's calling.
All right, Ragovar or Ravbogar. You walk into your room and you see what looks like a bathroom. Pretty elegant. Some of the stuff looks like it's made out of pure ivory, which you don't know how. Like the bathtub itself is huge. It's like big enough to fit 10 humans in. And it looks like it's made of ivory, like pure ivory. You're not sure how big of an elephant you would have to kill to make one out of the tusk of it.
Or
But
dragon.
that's true. But either way, it's a huge piece of ivory that this thing is carved out of. There's even like taps for water, which is pretty high tech for this time period. So that means that this has plumbing, which is huge. And there's a toilet, which kind of most rooms just have like a bucket that you can dump out the window. But this actually has plumbing for the toilet, so there's water in this little. It might be the first time that your character has seen such a thing, like a little bowl with water in it. You might not even recognize what it is. You can decide whether your character knows what it is or not.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, so there's these weird implements. They might be partially magical, you're not sure. Because there's like these little knobs on the top. It looks very futuristic in your character's opinion.
No
but
king.
either way, there's nobody in here.
Closed door, just continue my search.
Okay. But unfortunately, he opened the other door first, so we're gonna have to go to him first.
Wait it out. And
I
he
think he
returned. Speak of the devil, he returned.
What about me?
We're just about to start waiting for you.
Oh.
So good timing. So you open your door, and you see what looks like it looks like maybe a viewing room or something. You're not sure. Just sort of looks like a room with benches and chairs. That is the walls of this room, other than the walls back into the building, are made of glass.
So there's a panorama.
Yeah, and you can see sort of out into the city. However, you look at the floor in this room, and you see what looks like some sort of black soot. Just sort of looks like a large of black soot is on the floor.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. There's no people in this room.
Is it like a lot of black soot or just like a small patch?
It looks like if a half giant were laying on the floor, it could fit inside.
Cool, he's dead.
You don't know. You just see soot. And it looks like it's in a sort of orientation. And it's just all over the floor.
I guess we're not gonna have any luck looking for some CCTV, right?
You don't know. You can ask him if there's some sort of magical recording of this room. Might exist.
I look out of the panorama window just to see if there's like a house right next to it with a window turning to it, or someplace that somebody could like see into the room and maybe seen what happened.
You're about 6 stories above the next highest building currently.
Yeah, so like
if someone was standing on a nearby rooftop, maybe, but
okay.
not from a direct line of sight window.
Well, at least I wasn't too wrong about the fire.
All right. At this point,
what does it smell like inside? If it's burning flesh, it should have made some kind of smell.
smells like a chemical smell.
Chemical
You can
smell.
you can roll Arcana if you wish to try to determine what that means.
13.
Yeah, somebody probably cast some magic, but you don't know what.
Okay. Can I try to roll an intimidation to kind of scare the soot to tell me what happened?
You can try, but nothing will happen.
I was hoping for a nat 20.
Even if you got a nat 20, nothing would happen.
Aw.
However, it is at that point that Rav walks into the room, and you see the same thing. He might
I
be
look at him
muted.
and I say, so what do you think? Extra crispy giant?
Yeah, so we assume he is the Ash.
You
I
can
don't
roll
know.
an Arcana check that he failed, and you can attempt to discern what happened.
Oh yeah, you have a -1. Let's see if I'm smarter than him.
Come on, damn it.
No, you don't know what happened in this room, but you have a feeling that it was magical in origin due to the smell. It doesn't smell like something burnt and fell to the floor.
So
Smells
I smack him on the back and tell him, "Good luck with telling the lady."
Well, if he goes in that room again, he might not come back out. With the woman, I mean. Yes, the implications are clear.
Yeah, if he
I do
takes more
still
than
have-
5 minutes, I just
You know, I
barge
do
in.
still, you know, I do still have 12 gold.
Yeah, if he takes more than 5 minutes, if he takes more than 3 minutes, I will barge in, even if he's in the middle of it, drag him by his neck, and just drag him all naked outside.
Drag me by the tail.
By the leg.
Either way, there's still the lower floor if you wish to examine
Yeah,
that.
so I don't know about you, but we kind of just start looking around for anything.
Yeah, for
See if we
any
can find anything
evidence.
interesting
Oh yeah,
looking
the
the
ash.
rest of the rooms.
Yeah, the ash. Does it have any like rings, things a king would have or something?
No,
Hmm.
it's just a pile of soot that looks like somebody had a pile of soot in their hand and just went and blew it all over.
Okay, so
Oh,
perhaps.
so it's so small.
No, it looks like as if there was a huge pile in someone's hand and they blew it all over.
Okay.
Okay, so you tell the unfortunate lady that, well, her humping partner left.
She goes,
This Earth?
"What? What are you talking about?"
I haven't told her yet.
Well, he
Yeah.
did.
No, I
Where
just
you go?
told to him to go tell her that
Oh.
he left.
Oh, okay. So you weren't telling her.
No.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. Okay, that didn't happen.
Yeah, but I kind of want to look around first before.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and find any, well, indication what might happen here.
Evil.
All right. Make an investigation check.
Investigation.
At any level, do we get more proficiencies? Or do you only have those far from start to ending?
You get more. I just stuck with 4. You can pick more proficiencies with your expertise. You know that, right?
No.
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 Okay.
Well, either
Yeah, so,
way.
so usually you only have the 4 or 5. Yeah, right?
Okay.
I'm just asking. I don't know. I haven't ever made it to like a really high level character.
Well, you can, but that's usually costs training, which costs gold and such, and
Yeah.
downtime.
Oh.
Either way, it's ironic because you two are investigators that are sucky at investigation. So,
Why do you
yeah.
think I persuade people to do my job for me?
Okay.
Well,
So,
he's better than me.
that's true. You guys start turning over everything in there. The only thing that you find weird, you even check the lower floor, which has like a huge kitchen and like a living room, and a entertainment room, which sort of is like a lower in this culture, sort of like a lowered pit, and then there's like a stage where any amount of entertainment could be. So they could have like bards or dancing women or whatever they want to put on the stage. Um, anyway, you search the entire area, and unfortunately, you find nothing that doesn't look like it's supposed to be in this area, other than a book.
Oh, I give
What
no
book is
interest.
it?
I give
Okay.
no interest to the book, so I go to the lady, tell her king left the building already.
So you're going to say that to her now.
Yeah.
Alright, she goes, "What? What do you mean?"
As in, he's not in the building anymore.
She walks out of the room and goes looking around the area.
Is she still naked?
She's got a blanket wrapped around her.
Yeah, I just
But
follow.
otherwise, probably, if you haven't looked under the blanket.
I just follow.
Okay, so you're following her.
Yeah, just to see what she's gonna do.
Okay, so as that's happening, did you say that you wanted to open the book?
Yeah.
Okay, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Really? I have 0 of those. That's how many. Fuck.
Well, unfortunately, you open the book, and suddenly your arms go limp, the book drops to the floor, and you are considered mind controlled. So your actions are not your own.
As soon I hear the book drop, I just pull
You're
my
on a
battle.
different floor than me. How could you possibly hear a book drop to the floor?
Make a perception check to see if you notice.
11.
Unfortunately, no. So you just continue following the woman. And she
Must
walks into...
kill Rev.
Now, here's what happens. You walk into the room, and unfortunately you are considered an NPC, so I don't have to describe everything that you're doing until you're in view of another player character. So, as this happens, you walk into that room, and she goes into that room, and she goes, "Ah, damn!" And she just drops the blanket, and she is fully clothed underneath. She goes, "Why did he leave without me?"
Without you.
She goes, "Yes, without me. He's not here,
Where?
and I'm here."
Oh, I thought he was going somewhere with you.
No, well, yes, but I don't know. She just sits on the bench and just looks unhappy.
Perhaps tell me where he wanted to take you.
He said he was going to take me back to his kingdom. And I was going to be his queen. So much
Right.
for that.
So she's not a lady of the night. She's just stupid.
Your assumptions are your own.
Yep. That's all I needed to know. So then I go back to my friend, my colleague.
All
And
right,
your
as
friend
you
now?
attempt to go back to where he is, you see him standing in the middle of the stairway.
The hell you
He doesn't
do?
have a book in his hand, but he just looks like he's standing there waiting for you to come.
You okay there?
Yeah, come on! That's what he says.
What did you find?
Yes.
He goes, no, you don't get to say anything, unfortunately, because you're mind controlled. He goes, I didn't find anything. This is a waste of time.
Inside.
Sure.
I believe him.
He's hard to read at the moment, but he seems pretty impatient normally, so doesn't seem out of character.
Problem is that I'm an alcoholic, so my glassy eye stare shouldn't help with anything either.
Yeah,
Do
he's
I
just
get to
sort
do
of
more wisdom checks, or no? The wisdom saves, or
Saves.
just I'll tell you when you're allowed to do so.
okay.
Not gonna try and get anything for yourself or that he did.
You'll never know that.
Pat him down.
All right, he puts his arms out, waiting for you to pat him down.
Sure,
Mind
do
you,
that.
mind you, I did that willingly for some reason.
Yes, that's true. Like there are things that you might be able to pick off on.
Yeah, I was like, you never would let me do that willingly. Knock him over as I'm close to him.
All right, you knock him down.
No. I like to be touched, and then a persuasion check.
Wait. He says he knocked you down, and unfortunately, this mind-controlled person was willing to allow you to touch him. So then he willingly gets knocked over and falls down the stairs, which triggers another wisdom save.
For both of us?
No, just for
Oh,
him.
you.
Yes. All right. This time you fall down the stairs and you wake up suddenly. You don't remember anything that just happened from when you looked at the page of the book. You don't even remember what the book said. You just remember opening the book, and that was the last thing you remember. And now suddenly you're at the bottom of a staircase.
So yeah, I'm squatted down on the stair, on the step I am, and just watch him have fun being a puppet.
I take my hand inside my jacket and pull out the dragon piss flask, and I can see that it is over halfway full. So I knew I didn't black out.
Yeah, he's looking at himself like trying to. He's just like looking and examining things weirdly. You're not sure what just happened.
Yeah, I asked him if he had fun being a puppet.
You should try it yourself, and open this book.
Do you show him the pages of the book?
I show him the pages of the book.
If as he
Alright.
said, you should try
can.
yourself. I just avert my eyes.
Make a perception check
Oh,
to
God.
see if you see the book. Unfortunately, in this case, lower perception is bad. So, you see the book. Make a wisdom save.
Please, please. Yes, I have a puppet.
You suddenly just go lax, and you just sort of stand there staring forward for a moment. And since you're within view of him, I'll describe what happens. Suddenly, his eyes roll back into his head, and he just sort of stays there for a moment. And then suddenly his eyes come back, and he goes,
Wait a minute.
"What's your problem? Come on, let's go."
Wait a minute. Did I actually forget to? No, I didn't. It's okay.
Okay. And he goes, "What are you doing? Let's go." And he starts walking down the staircase.
Just quick question.
Yes.
I think either my race or class made it so that in higher levels I got actually wisdom, proficient in wisdom saves.
What kind of tiefling are you?
Thiefling, Glacia,
Glacia.
Glacia.
Glacia. Okay, let me check that for you.
But then again, I have dyslexia, so I could have just read it wrong.
So let's see.
That is spelled Glasya.
I'm currently checking it. You do have fire resistance, minor illusion, disguise self, invisibility, and that's about it. So no, I don't think you get that.
Where the fuck did I probably I read a little bit on the Mystic, but I couldn't understand quick enough, so I probably the Mystic. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
that's
problem.
Continue.
The mystic is like the jack of all trades, but also overpowered as fuck. No one likes them.
So can I make him do stuff now?
No, unfortunately.
Uh,
He's being puppeted by someone else.
I closed the book.
He's still controlled.
Huh.
And he goes, "Come on!" And he's standing at the door.
I say stop.
He goes, "I'm not moving." And he looks confused.
Maybe we should do that thing you and me like, punching our heads into the wall.
He sort of stands there for a minute. His eyes roll back, just barely noticeable. And then he goes, "I don't even like you. Come on."
Can I do a persuasion on it?
Unfortunately, no. He read the occupant's mind.
Oh shit. Well, is
Oh,
he is
then I
he
want
standing
say
close to the
this.
stairway?
Then I want to say this. He read a very angry, very cursing, very mad Dragonborn's mind.
Yes, however, he's just accessing your memories, so he doesn't get any of that anger, unfortunately, for you.
Is he standing near the staircase?
He's standing next to the guy who let you in the room.
With this in the staircase.
There is a staircase behind that, but it's about 3 or 4 feet. You'd have to push him if you wanted to get him to go down the staircase.
I'll tackle him. And
Alright.
throw him into the ground face first.
Alright. Unfortunately, since he is mind controlled, he's going to attempt to dodge you. So your actions are not your own, so you can roll to try to get out of the way.
Okay,
Whatever
what
would be
roll?
best. Alright, and you have to... Alright. Unfortunately, he manages to dodge out of the way, and instead of both of you going down the staircase, you go down the staircase.
At a 15?
Yeah, you rolled at him, and then you rolled down the staircase.
I have
You were expecting
18.
to hit him. You were
How
expecting
many
to
blunt
hit him.
damage do I do? Take.
Fortunately, you compensated and didn't take any damage.
Yeah, the thing is, I could push you because I was up close to you, and I could just go like shove.
Throw
Well,
me down the stairway.
unfortunately, he's down the staircase and took no damage because he's dexterous. So he managed to land properly once he realized that he wasn't going to hit you. So he goes, Why are you acting so stupid? Come on.
Sure. I start following him.
Okay. He walks out of the hotel, unless if you want to do anything to him in the meantime.
Yeah.
Pull my tail, hang on my wings, make me trip.
Do you do anything?
No, where does he go? I just follow.
Alright. He says, we're not getting anywhere with this investigation. Let's head back to the precinct.
And do what?
Go back.
And
Do
do
another
what?
job? I don't know.
Question, do you still have the book?
I still have the book.
Then we should go back to the precinct, indeed.
True. Okay, buddy, let's go back to the precinct and I'll pat you on the back.
And he goes, why are you so annoying? As he walks away.
Do you want a drink?
He goes, not from you. And
What?
he gets on the horse and he goes,
Ugh.
not from you, and he gets on a horse and starts going back.
Well, at least he's a little bit more polite when he's mind controlled. I ride
Either
after
way.
him to the precinct.
You guys walked into the precinct, and he goes, you do your own thing. I'm gonna do something else.
There must be magic users seeing that there's something wrong with me, right?
Not at the moment.
Oh god. The good balls?
Where's the kind police chief or whatever her name is?
Alright. You go to see her, and you see Rav just walk over to his desk and start doing paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Not snapping any quills.
Yes, that's true. You just see him diligently start writing down a report of what you guys just did.
So do I find the kind
Quills
policewoman?
must be the biggest red herring ever, but no one notices.
Not at the moment, they don't. So you walk over to the woman. She's there. She goes, what do you want? Or she had a different voice, but that's fine.
What do you want? I mean,
Yeah, basically.
she's secretly a man. Do investigation. No, I'm just kidding.
Either way.
I take the book out of my pocket and I slam it in the desk. And I say, don't open it. Or maybe open it. It would be fun seeing how you'd react. And then I point at Rev.
Okay.
And I tell her, this is a puppet book thingy majig. He's being controlled by somebody else right now.
Okay. She goes, I didn't know you could read.
That's mighty kind of you. And I start drinking.
And she goes, alright, I'll trust you on this one. And she keeps the book closed. And she passes it to... She walks past you and past Rav and goes to another desk and goes, this is a dangerous magical artifact. Do you mind doing something with it? And the person at the desk just takes it and puts it down on the desk and starts taking out some implements. And she walks over to Rav and she goes, hey, Rav. And he goes, what? She goes, I need you, in this room over here. And she just walks into a different room. And he goes, okay.
I follow.
And he gets up and follows her. She walks into the room and she holds the door open and she goes, "It's something about the case." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he walks into the room, and as soon as he walks into the room, his face returns, and Rav, you were in the suite. Now suddenly you're in the interrogation room that you smashed up earlier. Fortunately for you, there is an anti-magic field in there to prevent magic people who can use magic from escaping the prison.
Yeah, I just frown and go like, I'm gonna break that little twig of a tiefling.
Do you actually laugh, or you?
Did I
laugh?
hear him?
You're nearby.
I'm nearby, so I
Yeah.
could hear him do that.
Yeah.
I start giggling, and then I walk towards the guy she gave the book to.
Okay. So I'll say that you hear the laughing because he was close enough. However, she goes, "Don't leave this room." And she puts a hand
If
on
you
your.
don't lock the door behind me, I will, trying to break the twig of a tiefling.
She closes the door and locks it and pushes you into the broken chair.
Aw, he called me a twig. I always thought I had a big bear belly.
And she didn't realize the chair was broken until she pushed you into it, so you sort of fall on the floor.
No worries about that.
She goes, "Oh, well, it was your own fault anyway."
What do you do about it with a dragonborn with a short fuse? Oh yeah, nothing.
Yeah, you're a stereotypical cop stereotype.
Yeah.
He's got a short fuse, and the chief is always on his back.
But he gets
Too
the
bad
job
he's too
done.
damn good at his job, or he'll be fired a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. I just realized you were that stereotype.
Yep.
Either way, she goes, "We don't know if the magical effect will reinitiate itself if you walk out the door, and you might attack somebody."
Can I still hear her?
No, you're elsewhere. You're at
No,
the desk, which is far away.
she's like in the one-way mirror side of the room. No, and I'm on the other side.
No, she's in the room with you.
Oh, okay.
So she's in the interrogation room with the table and the chairs, but it has an anti-magic field to prevent magic users from killing the lead inspector or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I just crossed my eyes and look at her. I figured something out. You know, the king had an appointment with half giant of some sort of kingdom.
We were aware that someone from another country was coming. We put some guards on him.
Get those guards in to be, well, quote unquote, interrogated / heard out.
Well, we're one step ahead of you on that. We are aware of what happened to them. They were ordered to return, seeing as there was no danger.
Good, cause that half giant just teleported out of his room without paying.
Or got burnt or crisp.
So, you went to his hotel room?
Yes, I did. We find some kind of strange powder in his room. No clue what it was, but I'm guessing teleportation. Cause there was, let's say, a lady of the night in his room.
Well, that's interesting. Anything else you found while you were gone? You were gone for a few hours.
Yeah. So I show her the paper the king gave me. The king gave me basically this.
And she looks at the page and she goes, She doesn't even read it. She just looks at it and she recognizes it. And because it's just a basic, like, he has like 100 of those papers sitting around, and everyone who's in leadership with the guard knows what they are. Because he gives them out when they are needed. So they need to know what that is to be able to properly identify them. So that way they don't see forgeries or anything like that. And she goes, well, he really has faith in you. Don't know about your friend, but at least you get the job done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the one thing we did find was that book.
Well, it might give us a lead. Hopefully they can unenchant it, or at least make it so that way it's easier to handle. Perhaps we can read what's inside. But for now, we need to just leave it in the hands of others.
Yeah. Wait, wouldn't it be just readable if we brought it in here?
It would be, but once we leave the room, we don't know if it will cast a delayed effect on whoever reads it, or anything like that.
That's very true.
So, we'd rather try to figure out the enchantment on it and perhaps dispel it if needed.
Yeah, that reminds. Oh wait, Could I stick? Yes, I could. Could you open the door for me?
She opens the door.
Stick my hands out of the door, cast dispel magic on my own hands, then just walk out.
Okay. She sees you casting a spell. She goes, very clever. And as you cast it on yourself, it, even at minimum level, it goes away. So you walk out the door.
Sometimes it's handy to have those spells at the ready.
Why didn't you just use that at me instead of throwing me down the stairs?
Because it's funny to watch you fall downstairs.
Well, I will agree with that.
Alright. So after that happens, we switch to Abraxas. You walked over to the desk with the book. So we want to know what happens with that before they walk out of the room and see that the whole police station is under mind control. So, what did you want to do when you were at the desk?
I asked the guy if he's able to trace like the source of the commanding of the book and of what he's going to do with it. At the same time, I pull my bottle out and dragon piss.
Okay, sure. He pulls out these weird implements, and there's like one that's just like a stick that looks almost like a magic wand. There's one that's like a little ball, maybe a pearl. There's another one that just looks like a red sack full of something, and he just sort of just starts waving his hands, and he's like, if you did any police work, you would know how long this takes.
Everyone's burning you today.
Well, at least I'm not a nerd.
Goes, at least I can know that this book was bad before I read it.
That's because I just gave it to you.
Yes, but... And he stops the ritual momentarily. He goes, you read the book, didn't you?
Yeah.
And something bad happened to you, didn't you?
Yes, and then I showed it to Rev. And I just started laughing.
He has a little grin when you say that. He goes, well, that wouldn't have happened to me. I would have picked up the book and made sure it wasn't magic. And he continues the ritual. And after 10 minutes, which part of that conversation, it's almost at the tail end of your conversation, unless if you try to interrupt him during his ritual.
I'm just sitting at the edge of his desk with my feet on top of his desk, drinking dragon piss, which
Okay,
I am kind of actually doing right now, IRL.
that's fine. And he finishes the ritual, and he goes, "Hmm, very odd." And he takes the little pearl off of his desk and puts it in his desk. And he
Off
takes
his
the
desk, in
wand.
his desk.
Yeah, and he puts the wand in his desk, and he takes the little pouch and puts it in his desk. And he goes, "Yeah, this is definitely not something you want to mess around with. Though, the exact location, I can't say, but I can tell you who it's linked to."
Ooh.
And he says, "A man named Lagos."
Piece of shit.
Which is the guy that you were looking for in the hotel room.
Suspicion confirmed.
Suspicion confirmed. He used the bush. He used the bush. He used the book on our king. Just made him give him the
You're
fucking.
drunk. You're drunk, so you said Bush. You actually said Bush.
I'm Norwegian. I'm allowed to say English words wrong.
Yes, but you're also drunk, so it makes sense.
I'm not drunk.
No.
Your character is.
Oh,
Yeah.
my character. Yeah, my character's drunk.
Yeah, so your character actually said Bush.
Hmm.
Yeah, it just makes it better.
Yeah. So he used the bush on our cling. Cling.
And he goes,
And then he just made him give him the royal butt plug. And then he made him wander into the forest.
"Well, I don't know about any royal butt plug, but seems to align with the evidence that you've gathered so far, doesn't it?"
It's a royal butt plug.
Okay, sure. Whatever. I mean, the king is a little weird lately.
He who holds the butt plug rules this land. He told me that himself. And persuasion check. 29. Beat that.
I don't think it's possible, but it would be a deception check.
Try again, my
Well, he
man.
could get a 9. He could get a net 20.
Go ahead, roll again.
Yeah, you have to roll a deception. Because technically what you're saying is not true.
Oh, fuck. Oh, he doesn't believe me.
Now we can make it.
Yeah, now you can easily make it. Considering he's a magic user, so he's pretty astute in these things.
Just wait and see. I knew it.
You don't believe me.
I knew it.
He goes,
One below.
"Is this some sort of secret magic rite?" He doesn't know what you're talking about. But he believes that you believe what you just said.
No.
And he's convinced by what you just said. But he doesn't know what you're talking about.
So
Either
if
way,
you
as this conversation is happening, Rav, I
probably
assume you
charging
walk
with
out
his
of the room at that point.
Inside my face.
okay,
This drunk man attempting to converse with the guy who has the evil book.
so question: if he's sitting on the chair, like it's on the back two legs, sitting with his feet on the desk, is he sitting like that?
If you like see like the guy sitting behind the desk, I'm like on the right side with my feet on top of the desk on the side of the desk.
So
Yeah,
are you sitting in a chair or just on the desk
A chair.
currently?
A chair.
Okay. If you're like sitting, if the chair is just on his back two legs and the front two are in the air, I want to sweep the back two legs so that we fall.
All right. I'm gonna get you to roll an unproficient melee attack.
Strength boy, here we go.
Yeah, you hit the chair, no problem, and it falls over.
I notice it, and I try to do like a backflip to like just stand up straight.
Okay, make an acrobatics check. Unfortunately, you tripped his chair, but unfortunately, he saw it coming and just did a backflip and
it
landed
looked
on
damn fucking impressive as well, like a double backflip.
So here goes. No.
I start bowing with my bottle in my hand to the whole crew.
It's actually kind of impressive, especially due to the fact that he's so drunk.
So I look at our magic guy and tell him, what lies did he tell you?
Oh, he was just saying that you met the king and he has a royal butt plug.
Ugh. It's just the ruling scepter.
Yeah, the butt plug.
That's not good. You realize that means if the king dies anytime soon, that whoever has it is the ruler.
Yeah,
of the
and
city.
we have a suspect number one. This so-called king. Wait, no, I don't know that. Yes, I do have him as a suspect, but I don't know who the source of the book is.
Yeah, he tells you about the source of the book.
Okay, this confirms it. That is suspect number one of theft and magic use on our king.
He goes, well, we should have expected intrigue. Oh well. Fortunately, we don't have any leads here. We have our own cases to run.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the law to see if he actually is disqualified to be king.
Well, our laws might not apply to wherever he comes from.
Well, too bad that the laws of our kingdoms are. If he wants to be king of our kingdom, then he needs to follow those laws, right?
Oh, right. You always knew how to get the job done.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check the law for that.
All right.
Great. I'm gonna check his papers, the ones that he started writing on when he was under my control.
Okay. You look at the papers that he was writing on. It looks like he was.
If I see him just messing with a paper, I just go to him, grab him by the scruff, and shake him a little. Don't mess with my work.
What work? Comparing to the king, you're a slack off. Yeah.
Yes, he will scream because he gets yeeted through the window again.
This is like a sitcom now. A buddy cop sitcom.
But yeah, question.
Have you guys ever watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Some of it.
No. But
what?
Question,
you don't have Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in Holland?
We did, but I never watched it.
Just look up the part where the guy gets thrown out of the house, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but one serious question: how long are we still going with this?
Do you have to go?
Well, getting sleepy.
Okay. Well, I'll look it up for you, and I'll send it to you before you go to bed. But right now, can we go to the next half hour?
Sure.
Which is in 10 minutes?
Sure.
Alright. So, yes, he gets thrown out the window, reminiscent of that video, which you'll see later, if you haven't seen it. But anybody who's seen it will know how
Oh yeah, I do know that gif. Yes, that he gets thrown out. That he goes like, "Huh?"
Yeah. He goes, "Wah!"
Yeah, that one. I exactly know
And you
which
can
one you
just like
mean.
hear the homeless people, but the homeless people say, "Oh, hi, hi, Abrax, hi,
Yeah,
Rodney."
yeah, and you just keep getting thrown out. It's like a running bit in a sitcom. You just keep getting thrown out the window. Um, Either way, um, you the pages on the desk. I'll say that you had a look at them before he threw you out the window. Um, uh, they're relatively truthful. Like he was just starting off with, you guys left the precinct and you guys went to the bar and um, all the stuff that happened at the bar that he saw, which was a guy laying outside urinating on himself, which then you guys talked to that guy. Um,
Okay, one thing is the part about the acid against the plant in there.
he didn't get to that part. The mind
Okay, good,
control, whoever was mind controlling you didn't get to that part.
Damn it!
good. Because if it was, I would have scratched it through.
Yeah, he didn't get to that part yet. He just got to the part where you guys were at the magical item, and he was about to write the part where you stood in front of the magical item to show that it was you, but he didn't get past that part. Either way, so you have your clues. What do you want to do?
So
Well,
go
find
to
that
the
son of
chief,
a
tell
bitch.
him that, well, we need a warrant or something to get to this guy, cause, well,
Okay, so the guy with the cigar is the guy who would deal with this. He
yeah,
goes, yeah, I'll send a messenger out to the court and we'll get a warrant. No problem. Especially if you have this much evidence.
yeah, that not alone that, but also up the security by the king to the maximum level that there is.
Alright, I'll send messengers out. That's the most I can do at the moment.
Yeah, cause there might be assassination attempts right now.
Alright. And he just passes some notes to a messenger that's standing next to him. And he goes, quick, boy, or you'll get killed like the rest of them. And the guy just runs out of the office in fear. You know that he's just playing with the kid.
Yeah,
He's
so
not actually going to get anybody killed.
so I just leave him and get the big book of law rules, and go check it out to
Alright.
see if he's disqualified to be king.
So you start heading towards the archive.
Yeah.
Alright. Um, so, what are you doing, Egbraxis?
I'm following him.
Okay, so you're headed towards the archive as well?
Hmm.
Alright. I'll try to get through at least a little bit of the archive, depending on how long you take. You guys arrive at the archive, and it's just basically a branch of the Chroniclers, which is an organization that is all over the world, and their focus is they're sort of lawful neutral. If that helps, they sort of just only care about the truthfulness of their recording of history. That's all that they care about.
Yes. So get up to him and ask him any laws that might disqualify you for becoming king.
You walk up to this guy in a robe. He's got like a purple robe on. And he's just sort of looking at, just to set the scene a little better. You're in a library, and he's just sort of glancing over some books, and you just walk up and ask him. And he goes, well, kings related to law. And he sort of just looks up, and then he walks to the side of the bookshelf, and he presses in some things on the side of the bookshelf, and you see a book float out from much higher on the bookshelf and just float down. And he puts his hand out, and the book goes into his hand, and he goes, "This might be helpful, though we would ask you don't leave with the book, but you can make copies of whatever you read."
I will just check it out right here. Just open the book and try and find laws that say that you can't become king because, well, stolen things are things done to the king.
Yes. There is a table of contents, which is quite extensive. It's about like 10 pages long, and it just has the names of the sections in the book. And you find one that says disqualifications for claiming the throne.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check that out. That's the thing that I was looking for.
All right. There are quite a few, such as if you steal it and the king is still alive and the king retrieves it while he's still alive, then you can't become king afterwards. You can't say, "He gave me the thing," and all that stuff. There's like a whole bunch of them that list just a huge list of things that are obvious. But make an investigation check. See if you find anything that actually is helpful.
Yay, with my -1.
You're on your own, by the way. I'm just sitting down and drinking.
Unfortunately, the closest thing that could help you is the one that I just mentioned. If you manage to retrieve it while the king is still alive, that's probably your best chance.
Well, time to disqualify him forever.
If he ends up dead before the king ends up dead, then obviously he can't claim it.
Yeah, so disqualify him forever.
But then again, he probably did use the book on the king, who gave him the scepter, and then probably also wrote down something about, "I anoint this giant asshole to be the next king after my death, blah, blah, blah."
There's probably something like that, you can assume.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to disqualify him forever, as in lay him in the 6 feet under grave.
Either way,
Kill him.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
I know, but I said that as a character. Why not just kill him?
That's my intention.
We're like Humpty and Dumpty. We're both stupid as fuck. I have like 1 in intelligence. He has like 0.
Either way.
Are you currently drinking from your bottle?
Always.
So as soon as you take a swig, I put my hand in the bottle. Crack.
It's a glass bottle.
Yes, I'm gonna crack it.
You're probably gonna get glass in your hand.
I have scales, so I don't give a damn about that.
Okay, so roll against each other. I can see how this one's gonna go.
What do we roll?
Same for grapple.
Damn it.
Yeah, he grabs the bottle from you.
It's gonna get smashed in my hands.
Right? He
Didn't
grips
you
it.
just smash it while I was drinking?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the bottle is smashed, and the alcohol goes on the floor, and you are promptly rushed by a bunch of librarians saying, "What are you doing?"
He did it! I just start pointing at him and I start running away.
Okay, you run away, and unfortunately, you were the only one there. So they go. They're looking at you angrily.
You know, he was the one taking liquids inside. I was just trying to take it from him, but no, he kept a hold on it.
You realize you could have ruined innumerable books and lost innumerable amount of knowledge.
So I just look on the floor where just the Aqua is. Yeah, such knowledge the warlords can contain.
You realize we're part of the Chroniclers, right? And as he says that, make a history check.
12.
Yes, that's high enough. You've heard rumors that the Chroniclers can basically enslave you if they determine that you've done crimes against them, and it's all above board within the law.
Can I stick my head into the archives and just say, and just so you know, everybody here knows me, I would never waste a drop of booze. And then I start running again.
Okay, that happens. All that we ask, sir, is that you clean up your mess, and at a later date, come and completely copy one of our volumes.
I guess I have no choice in the matter.
They go, all right, here. And one of them starts writing up and gives you one, and you can see on his notepad he has another copy, and he takes that copy and he just raises his hand and it magically just flies away somewhere. And he goes, you're now on our records. We'll be watching you. And they walk out of the room, and the piece of paper says...
As he says it, it says, welcome to the group.
And as he says that, you look at the piece of paper, and it basically says that you and your name are... Because in order to get in there, you have to give your name. Your name is written there, and you are sentenced to write another volume and clean up the mess.
So cleaning up the mess is at least done easily and quickly enough.
Yeah. You take 5 minutes and clean it up. No problem. And you know that these people, they keep records. They're people who keep records. So now that you're on record, they know that you did that. So it's not like you're going to get out of it. You'd have to eventually go in there and copy a book down.
So otherwise, I asked them one thing. Do they accept donations for rare materials?
You would have to ask them about that.
Yeah, that's what I asked.
Which is the last... I'm going to go through this, so then this is going to be the end of it.
Yeah.
What do you specifically ask them?
Do you accept donations of rare materials like tiefling horns?
How the fuck is that rare?
Either way, the guy goes, well, if you specifically had a tiefling horn, it depends on who it belonged to and whether or not they're notable in history. That's just the truth of what he would say.
You're screwed, boy.
Comedy of error there is your own making.
I just ask for donations, nothing else.
Okay, he goes, technically you can buy out your copying of a book. However, it's probably not something you want to look into.
Must resist the temptation.
He goes,
urge to kill rising.
He goes, the price for ruining one of our volumes is exactly, and no less, 102 gold.
That's a bit of an odd price.
It's the price that was determined when we first founded our organization. And the lawmakers agree with it, at least in this country.
Okay, what book are you gonna make me copy?
he snaps his fingers, and a large tome.
Expected.
You know those big, huge books like War and Peace, that sort of thing, that just are
Yes.
huge and have a lot of words.
Yes.
That's
Per page.
exactly the kind of book he just pulls down, and he goes, "There, this one hasn't been copied yet."
So I put my hand up before he finishes and I go like, "You do know that I have a tendency to snap quills, right?"
Fine. And he reaches behind the counter, opens the thing, and he says, "This is a quill of unbreaking." And he
Good.
offers it to you.
So I take it. I'm not gonna try and break it, and I'm just gonna copy that thing.
Okay, so in the middle of the investigation, he spends the rest of the day just copying that book, and you guys take a long rest afterward.
Just by the way, when he is copying it, I go back into the archives with a new bottle of booze, sitting next to him, drinking, laughing, and asking, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you
And
done
people
yet?"
notice that he has a drink, and he's allowed to have drinks, but if he spills them, then he'll have an equal fine. That's just the punishment for the spilling that drink,
The
which is what
thing-
you did,
I never
unfortunately.
spill a drink.
The thing everyone can just see is just the ball of anger. If it's just could manifestate in a physical thing, would just be huge. Just trying to murder him right now.
You can like see the huge veins in his forehead getting bigger.
Pulsing harder, and just the quills sometimes slowly raising, then slowly going down. Like, no, shouldn't stab him with that yet.
Yeah, and when you get into a situation where you would normally break the quill is like harder than your axe. It just doesn't break.
Yeah, sometimes I just grab the quill, trying to just wrinkle it to pieces.
Yeah, like it's even like it got feathering on the top, and you try to just rip the feathering off, and it doesn't work. Like, even though it looks like you should easily just be able to rip it in half, it just you just go break it, and it doesn't break.
You really need that in your desk. I
You know
mean,
what?
for fuck's
You know what?
sake.
Before our quest ends, I'm gonna fear him.
Fear me?
Fear you.
Okay, go ahead. He's laying in a pile of drool, trying
What?
to sleep.
I don't get a save?
Yes, you get to save.
Wisdom
Yeah, you get to
save.
save against it, but you're asleep. So when you're saving, you are asleep.
What save is it?
Wisdom.
Oh shit.
DC
Oh
15.
fuck.
You don't make it. You drop. You actually drop the bottle and dash out of the room.
Oh, so he wasn't asleep when you did that. Or was
What?
he? It doesn't matter. Either way, he fears you and you run away from him.
Yeah,
At a
and you
certain
drop
point.
whatever you're holding. It says.
Oh, believe me, I don't drop the bottle.
Nope. It says it in the spell.
Yeah,
Or
unfortunately, the spell
dictates it.
mistake the dax.
Whatever it is or drop whatever it is holding and become frightened for the duration, or frightened by this spell, a creature must take the dash action and move away from you by the safest available route
Yeah,
on
so
each of
if
its
your
turns.
I
character,
am asking you now, were there any people in the archive witnessing he casting that fear spell on me?
well, let's see. I didn't know that he was casting it in the archive, but since he says he is, sure. I can roll to see that.
Fucking hell, you must be kidding me.
Digging the hole deeper.
Do you wish to make like a sleight of hand or
For the love of God, yes. I need who I can actually make it.
No!
They see you casting a spell, which results in him dropping the. Oh no! Which results in him dropping the bottle.
You know, I can also do another way to make him frightened and do the same effect, which doesn't require my hands.
However, you didn't do that.
Yeah.
You already did the other one. So, you already made the other choice. So, I'm going to roll a d20 to determine if the bottle smashes. Lower numbers means that it smashes. So the lower the number, the more likely it is to smash.
Dum dum dum.
The bottle doesn't completely shatter, but part of it breaks and liquid begins to seep out onto the floor. And the guy who gave you the quill notices this happen and says, "Clean that up and write another one." And he brings down another one. This one's bigger than the last one.
The hole is just getting deeper.
You know what? Next time I'm going to curse you.
However, he ran out of the library, so he's gone.
Yeah, it just lost a minute and then he's fine again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. One of my personal traits is loving annoying people that hates me.
Yeah, but
It actually says that on his character sheet.
Yeah, but I'm gonna hit the hay right now.
Alright, so I'll just finish off by saying you finish the long rest, and then you wake up the next day with a messenger awakening you and giving you a note, and the note says, "Come to the precinct as quickly as possible," and that's where we'll end off.
Yeah, I am currently still appreciated because I just fell asleep during while writing one of the books.
You do
Yes.
know that you technically owe me 2 bottles of dragon piss now.
I'm not gonna owe you anything.
I am gonna nag so much about those bottles.
You will end up in a trash can.
Yes, and
Probably.
unfortunately, you still have 1.5 books to write.
Yay!
Well, at least you're copying them, so it's not like you're coming up with the words, but
Yeah.
it's gonna take a long time.
Well, see ya.
Alrighty, see ya.
Good night, man.
Thanks.